few minute delay over there, 5, 6, 7 minute delay, but get ready to go live on YouTube as well. So yeah, man. Professor, like I say, man, I'm expecting another pretty good conversation tonight as well. I see Sister Rera's up in the spot as well too. Shout out to Sister Rera. She's the first lady to make her presence up in the Newstoter space tonight. So shout out to that sister. Always a big supporter of the platform and the content, and we definitely appreciate her. Definitely love to hear her come up and voice her opinion as well too. So shout out to her as well. So yeah, man, we like I said, y'all, up in the jumbotron, I did put a new article up in there as well too that I'm going to read to the room as well. Just trying to let a few more people filter in. But yeah, this is the Black Californians. It was just their opinion on reparations, and a lot of them are just hoping they don't get screwed over. They know how many times they've been lied to by the U.S. government, federal government, local government, state government, city, county, you name it, and they're just hoping that this won't be another finesse. This won't be another screw job that the United States government has done so much and so often over time. Shout out to my man Original. Original definitely be dropping the information up in here as well too. I see Original just made his way up in the space as well too. So shout out, and I also put yeah.
I was gonna say, man, shout out to Original Call. He went on in with us all the way to late night, early morning last night, man. That brother was in there teaching. Of course, I was at work, but I could still, I could still hear him when he was telling everybody how we should move. And that's the thing about Original, man. He comes in and he comes with the professor teaching type way, or basically directing the people on what they need to do and what we should be trying to do. So shout out to you, Original, man. Thank you for hanging in there with us late last night and early morning.
Yeah, Original. He comes over to DJ space as well too. Let me give a shout out to Sister Rera. Sister Rera, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. But Original, he comes up in this space and he'll go up to DJ space as well too. So a lot of y'all will kick it over there to DJ late night space. I don't know what to call that space. That's a late night / morning space right there. They be going sometimes.
Late night space, look, that's like what, late night all the way into the almost mid morning.
Yeah. I seen them go to like 10, 11 o'clock. So yeah, it's like almost noon. So yeah, that's the long program there. But yeah, y'all. Okay, I see original. What's going on tonight? How you doing tonight?
Oh, we doing great tonight. We just sitting here. Just got some stuff to help with I have an issue with a tooth to help it out, and I'm happy now. I ain't got no pain and didn't have to go to the dentist, so I'm doing real good, But now I tell people, like I said, if we are to get reparations, it has to be a collective effort. When I heard about Cori Bush, she had this. She did a resolution for reparations, and I have to let her know that a resolution is not binding. We need some action. We need a bill that's moved into a law so that we can make sure that reparations are going to stick. Because and then the language she had in there, she used the word African and Black. Then at one point she said something about reparations to Black people was something about, and she used all. And I'm like, no, you cannot use language like that. You are undermining us. And I said, and if you're gonna undermine us, just step to the side or whatever, because all this ambiguous language. And I said, and I told her, I said, now I know you want to make. There are some people want to say that, we Black people are one people, or we're Africans or whatever. And like I said, okay, we are different people with different cultures and different circumstances. And so you can't. I even cited in there how the Caribbean have CARICOM and Black Americans are not included in that. So start with the ambiguity where they're trying to cloak in all these other people and then sabotage the entire process. Because see, when she ran for her seat, oh man, I heard people talking about her as if she could levitate and walk on air. When I went to her platform, she had all this stuff for the transvestites and everybody else, but nothing for black folks. So we have to watch these people because they're not on our side. Technically, they're not on our side. They will stand in front of a camera and give their perception, but they're not on our side.
Real talk, real talk. Let me give a shout out. I see Black Pressure. He stepped up in here as well too. Shout out to you, Nita and Tech Hunt. I see you up in here, Tech as well too. Andre, how you guys doing? Yeah, you know, I tweeted out a couple articles about the Cori Bush thing. I didn't really even touch up on it because everybody had been touching up on it. I see DJ, he's over there on YouTube, and he says Cori Bush is running with Narc and then Cobra. It's a grift, and that's what a lot of people feel at this point in time as well too. So that'll be more to come as well too on the Cori Bush thing as well too. So real quick, guys, I want to go ahead and I guess we'll go ahead and start because we got people coming up in here and we got enough people to go ahead and start forming the conversation up. So I want to go ahead and touch up real quick as well on this before we go ahead and get into the actual the whole entire reparation thing, because once again, this is going to be about why most Americans oppose reparation. This is part 2, and it's also going to be talking about the DC reparation rally again as well too. So for those that didn't get a chance to come up and speak yesterday, please by all means come up here and speak today. Ray, I'm gonna get to you in 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and touch up on this article real quick, and then y'all can go ahead and go in. This is from the website KCRA. It's up in the Jumbotron as well too. Curator on the Newstoter.com platform. It says Black Californians hope state reparations don't become another broken promise. Okay, so yesterday we heard a good number of white folks. An article I spoke on, a good number of white folks was crying about why reparations don't need to take place and this and that, and it was so long ago, and everybody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps, and we're not doing the handouts because this was coming from a white woman, somebody who's benefited from the civil rights movement. Because you can look at the actual meteoric rise of white women pre-civil rights as compared to after the civil rights movement, and it's night and day. So this is somebody else who, a white woman, in that article had something slick to say. And also the white folks was also saying that they felt everything, equality was even. Now this is their sense of equality. They felt for every $100 was made that black folks was getting 90. So I mean, if you was really by equality, you would say, well, they should be getting 100. It should be 100 and 100, but they felt good in their mind saying, well, we're only 10% over them, which we know, of course, is nonsense as well, too. But let me go ahead and get up on this article real quick. And shout out to more of you guys coming up in here, too. I see Cassandra, Iron Mode, I see you. What's up to you? I see you over there on YouTube as well, too. So shout out to you. Black Californians hope state reparations don't become another broken promise. Ain't that the truth? San Francisco resident Pia Harris hopes for reparations in her lifetime, but the nonprofit program director is not confident that California lawmakers will turn the recommendations of a first-in-the-nation task force into concrete legislation, giving pushback from opponents who say slavery was a thing of the past. It frustrates Harris, 45, that reparation opponents won't acknowledge that life of black people did not improve with the abolition of chattel slavery in 1865. Black families have been unable to accumulate wealth through property ownership and higher education. Black boys and teenagers are still told to watch out for law enforcement, and black businesses struggle to get loans, she said. I want them to stop acting like it's so far removed, and it's not currently happening, said Harris, of the lingering effects of slavery and discrimination. I want them to understand that we're still going through things now as a community, and it hasn't been over for us. Black Californians are watched closely as the state reparation task force forged ahead in a 2-year study, finally signing off this month on a hefty list of recommendations that will be submitted to lawmakers. It's uncertain what lawmakers will do with the proposals, which include payments to descendants of enslaved people and a formal apology from the state. The Associated Press interviewed a handful of black advocates and residents who follow the task force work, as well as those who have been engaged in conversation about reparations. The activists who fought for the civil rights in the 1960s and the young entrepreneurs echoed a common fear. They hope California's exploration of reparations does not become another example of the government offering false hope. Reparation proposals for African Americans date back to 1865, when Union General Sherman ordered that newly freed people would be given 40 acres of land. That didn't happen. In recent decades, Democratic lawmakers in Congress have tried to pass legislation to study federal reparations to no avail. In 2020, California became the first state to approve the creation of a reparations task force in order to study the state's role in perpetuating systematic racism and to find ways to atone. Although California entered the Union as a free state, it did not enact laws guaranteeing African Americans freedom, according to a draft report from the task force. The state faces a projected $31.5 billion budget shortfall, which reduces the possibility of legislature support from some of the task force. More ambitious recommendations, including direct payments to eligible residents and the creation of a new state agency to help those families research their ancestors and to file claims. The task force did not recommend specific payment amounts, but estimates from economists say that the state is responsible for more than $500 billion due to decades of over-policing, mass incarceration, redlining that kept Black families from buying homes and appreciating neighborhoods. Damian Posey, 44, grew up in historically Black neighborhoods in San Francisco where he heard gunshots at night and was bused to schools in neighborhoods that weren't so welcoming to Black children. He spent a decade in prison on weapons charge and later started a nonprofit called Us for Us Bay Area to mentor youth and reduce gun violence. Meaningful reparations would include an official state policy, public funding for nonprofit organizations that assist Black residents, and cash reparations for every eligible person for the pay denied to their ancestors who built this country with their labor, he said. And our people deserve it, honestly, he said. Compensation is an important part of state reparations proposals because Black Americans have been deprived of a lot of money due to discriminatory policies, said Les Robertson, 66, an associate pastor at the Sanctuary Foursquare Church in Santa Clarita, a city about 30 miles north of Los Angeles. But money isn't everything, Robertson said. In the task force, other important work shouldn't be lost in the fixation of dollar figures alone. He pointed to efforts to retell California history through a different lens, one that examines the state's role in perpetuating systematic racism despite its label as a free state. Robinson was hit by a tsunami of emotions when he learned in 2017 he was a descendant from a man who founded the first Black church in California and played a critical role in the state's pioneering African American community. He was disappointed that more people, himself included, were not taught the story of Daniel Blue, his great-great-great-grandfather who created what is now known as the historic St. Andrew's African Methodist Episcopal Church in Sacramento. Robertson is skeptical that reparations will be approved by lawmakers if history is any indicator. People wonder why African Americans at large are angry, he said, because we've been lied to. We've been bamboozled for centuries, not decades, centuries. Like Robertson, former Black Panther Party member Joan Tarika Lewis has been researching her lineage and was proud to discover several ancestors came to California in the mid-19th century and helped other Black people escape slavery. Lewis became the party's first female activist when she joined as a teenager, wants more Black residents to learn about their heritage and for all Californians to know more about important contributions of Black pioneers and civic leaders. Lewis, 73, also wants to raise more awareness about what the community has lost. Her father operated a boxing gym in West Oakland that served as a community space for young people to learn from their elders, but then government officials took the land in this place and built a freeway and commuter line. The family was paid a pittance of what would go on to become valuable San Francisco Bay Area property. Lewis is optimistic that state lawmakers can make reparations happen if they have the political will. So is Vincent Justin, a 75-year-old Richmond resident and retired bus driver who has fought for racial equality for decades. He marched in the 1960s with Martin Luther King Jr., Huey P. Newton, Stokely Carmichael, and other major civil rights figures. Though the fight has been long, he hopes reparations will one day be approved at the federal level. I think we're going to come to a fair and equitable ending, he said. Peace and shout out to all you guys coming up in the space. I said a number of you guys have come up in the space. Tonight, we're just doing a continuation. This is the part 2 of the space we had last night. We're going to be talking about why most Americans oppose reparations. And we're also going to be talking about the DC reparation rally as well, too. And everybody is free to come up. I know we had a number of people that came up yesterday. Some people got a chance to speak. Some people probably didn't. So if you guys want to come up and speak tonight, by all means, come on and speak. And like I say, this is just a continuation. And on that article there that I just shared, you're getting the reaction of a number of Black Californians sharing their views on how believable they believe reparations are. If reparations is truly going to come to Black Californians, they're really worried. From what you can hear, a good number of them are really worried that, hey, this may just be another political game being played, that Nothing really valuable is going to come from it. I know a lot of people definitely don't hope that. You got a lot of people that feel like, hey, if reparations do come, it won't be coming in their lifetime as well, too. So that's something that I believe that we may have a fight ahead. Whether we get reparations in my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, their kids' lifetime, I just want to go ahead and start putting in the groundwork, putting in the work that we can do. If I see it, that's going to be great. I definitely would love to see it. Definitely would love to actually have the money and the resources. If not, I would definitely still feel great knowing that, hey, I played a part in future generations actually getting a chance to improve their livelihood and create generational wealth and opportunities as well too. Because reparations, first and foremost, to me is about the cash payment. But also with the cash payment, I hear people say, well, I don't want the land with them. I want the land. Because that was one of the first things they talked about. I want the cash in the land. I don't want to get paid the money and then have to take that money and actually go buy some land as well, too. I want valuable land. I don't want some swamp land that they're going to go ahead and get. Well, y'all take this right here. I want some valuable land that you can build on, that you can grow on and everything else like that as well, too. I don't want to have contaminated water, which we know how things run in this country. It seems like every black township and city has the worst damn water available. So I want policies. I want cash. I want land, and I want policies as well too, because a number of policies excluded black people from being able to do things in this country. So I believe you have to have certain policies enacted and put in place to go ahead and protect black people's interests and their rights as well too. So it's a number of things. It's not just the cash reparations, which is the most important thing. Don't get me wrong. That's number one. But there are other things as well too. I believe that you have to include in there as well. See, brother Muka about to come on up here. So, and like I say, guy, and Ray, you had your hand up too. So I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead and go ahead because I know you had your hand up.
No, you good, man. I'm gonna just be real quick. Just to answer the space topic. Why do they oppose it? Because they understand what we're gonna be like if we do get it. Because with the little bit we have, we're shining. So if we can get what we're actually owed, man, this gonna change the game. So that black people are just missing two things. We need some type of real unity amongst ourselves and the money to do it with. Once we get those two, they know we're gonna be unstoppable. That's why they do all they can to deny us, our due justice. I land there.
Absolutely, and I think Black Majority State, he posted yesterday in the comments section the I guess the actual attitude of white folks, and I think that poll that Black put up that was from like 2002, 2003. There are more people, white folks now that approved of it because I think that poll was very low from what I can remember. I don't know if it was like 5% or less than 5% actually supported reparations. I think now you still have over 70% of white folks in this country still don't support reparations. Not to mention, like we spoke of yesterday, vast majority of Latinos and Asians don't. So that's not surprising at all either. But we got to remember this one thing, that when it's time for the election and everybody started talking about and you're getting grouped in there, black people need to remember the people that don't support their interests. When they start talking about people of color and the minorities and the underserved communities and all this other stuff, remember these very same people that's sitting up here saying they don't support this, you don't deserve anything, you're looking for a handout. Why don't you get off your black behind and go out there and work for a living? Stop complaining. My family didn't own slaves. My people weren't even in this country. You weren't alive. You weren't a slave. You're not entitled to anything. Remember that when they start going ahead, sitting up here and they start lumping black, whenever they start doing these statistics and they talk about, when it's statistics and they show you how bad black people being treated, then they got to go ahead and throw black and brown in there, or they got to throw up black and Asian or whatever it is in there. Just remember that. Now it's the same way that they're separating and they're letting you know that, hey, we feel this certain way about you. Also let these folks know the same way too. Like, hey, stop lumping us in there. We're not part of the same struggle. Your history is not tied to my history. No disrespect to your history and what you went through in this country, but we're not going to let you tie it in there and sit up in there like you did in the civil rights movement, where you went ahead and you were able to tie everything in here and this and that. And we're talking about how white women were treated and how poor whites was treated and how this person was treated. And all of a sudden, you guys are the main beneficiaries of legislation that was simply and truly meant for one group of people, and that's black people. So remember that the next time people start sitting up there and they're talking about the minority coalition and people of color and all this other stuff that you hear every election cycle, because it's getting ready to come up. 2024 will be here before we know it. You know, so remember that the next time they sit up and they start saying all of this stuff about the people of color and this and that or whatever, be like, no. And Gene, I see you down in the comments section. Like I say, this is a continuation. So if you want to come on up here and get in the speaker section as well, too, you can come on up here as well, too. Bovo, I'm gonna go ahead and go to you, and then Ray, I'm gonna come back to you. Go ahead, Bovo. What's going on?
Shit, what's going on, my brother?
What's up? What's up?
Oh shit. Yeah, I just want to say that. Yeah, I was saying that yesterday. It's about the money. That's their power. Even if we give reparations, right? It's still their money. That's what I don't know why. I say this shit be going over niggas' head. It's their money. They control the money. They control the money. Who you think money it is? It's their money. So they don't want to. They understand like when people get money, they start separating. They start separating. They want to keep you around them, under them. They don't want you to have no money. What do rich people do? Remember Friday? He left the hood. He hit the lottery and left the hood. He separated. He's separated. It's the money. It's their money. They don't want to give you that type of power. They don't want to give you that power. Now, the real question should be why? 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 Why wouldn't they want to keep? They let these foreigners get it. These foreigners, they send money back home. This is home. So I just want to drop that gem on y'all. Why would they do that?
All right, appreciate that, Volvo. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Ray, then I'm gonna get to Cognitive. Brother McCoo, I see you up here. I know you got something you want to add to, so just put your hand up. Original. I know you're gonna share something with the room for us tonight as well too. So I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. But Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you a really quick question. I was gonna ask you, did you see someone I guess was wearing a wire and they asked Jim Clyburn about reparations? And last year this time he was saying, well, I'm the one that supported HR 40 and blah blah blah. But then this year when he was asked, he was like, oh hell no, y'all didn't get it. Why the fuck y'all asking about that? Blah blah blah. So I was just gonna ask you if you've seen that, and to answer Bobo's question, why? That's really a great question, brother. They don't want to see us come up, and the truth is we don't really. Well, I speak for myself. I don't have any hatred. I just really like you said. I want to get mine and be left alone, so I can raise my family, so I can pass something down to my kids. Just that type of stuff. But again, like you said, they don't want to see us really have anything. That's been the problem since we stepped foot on this soil.
Real talk, Ray. Real talk. Let me go ahead and get to Cognitive. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hold on, real quick. Did you get a chance to see it, News?
Oh, I heard about it, but I didn't see it. But I heard everybody was talking about that he was going off when they asked him about reparations. Yeah, I heard that, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cognitive. I just wanted to ask him that. My bad.
No, you cool.
No, you good, bro. I'm at work. I just have a quick question about Bovo. I hear this from a lot of black conservatives. Do you even support reparations, sir?
I'm gonna do this, but it's one of my shows, bro.
Okay.
I'm on video talking about it.
Hold on, real quick, y'all. Let's go ahead and let's keep it on the actual topic, y'all. I don't know any beef that anybody got outside of the space, but let me just go ahead and say that real quick. We don't want to go sideways with this discussion tonight. So let's just keep it on the actual reparation thing, because I don't want anybody getting into it. I don't know any beef that anybody personally may have outside of the space, but if it is any beef or whatever, y'all, let's just keep it totally on the conversation and the actual topic. Cognitive, I rock with you. Volvo, I rock with you as well too. So I got much respect for you brothers, but I just want to go ahead and keep that thing, centered and square where it's at as well too on the actual conversation, because I know you fellas got a lot that you can offer to the conversation tonight, so I definitely look forward to it. And like I said, y'all always rock with the Newstoter space, so I definitely, you know what I'm saying? I definitely don't want to see it go sideways, anything like that. But Cognitive, you want to add anything else to it, man, or you good?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him a question. I wasn't trolling him. I just asking a question. That's it.
Okay, to my knowledge, Volvo he's never said anything that he was in opposition to reparations. He's always said that he supported reparations. So from the times he's up in the space, and he's up in the space a good amount of time, he definitely has his we definitely have a difference of opinion on a number of things, but he definitely seems to go ahead and support reparations. I would say this right here. I would say, to my knowledge, the vast majority of our people up in this space that come up in the Newstoter space, they support reparations. Now, they may, your political parties aside, so I know some brothers are Democrats, some Republicans, some independent, but no matter what, I think we all pretty much coming and meeting right down the middle and saying, well, hey, politics aside, party aside, and all this other stuff, just like we got to do with religion and everything else as well, too. And our people also got to do it, too. Our family that's in the LGBTQ, they got to go ahead and get on board as well too, and like, hey, sexual orientation aside and all of that as well too. Hey, we got something that we trying to accomplish here. So cognitive, just not trying to answer for the man, but to my knowledge, and I think most of us in here, Professor Ray, Brother McCool, I think we can all pretty much say that for the most part. Volvo, he definitely rocks with reparations and whatnot. I know you rock with reparations, so I think we all in the corners pretty much on that spot real quick, bro.
All right, thank you. I'll drop that.
Oh, no problem. Let me go ahead and get to and I see Iron Mode. I see you up here as well too. Let me go ahead to I'm gonna get to you Iron Mode, but let me go and get to why do they like me like that? Why do they like me like that? How you doing?
Hi, Newstoter. And it's why they do me like that because this is another account.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, but I am a reparationist, and as far like what I do is just basically I'm at about 10 hours per week, and I've been at 10 about sometimes more, sometimes less, but I'm averaging about 10 hours per week for the last 3 years in my reparations advocacy, and I am in California, so I just to see how things have turned around and to see from when the first task force hearing happened, into now, even before there was a task force for authoring AB 3121. So, I even remember when people were talking to me like I was crazy, back in my 20s, when you would bring up repair, and now it's like a national discussion. So the thing that I wanted to offer, and actually, who am I fighting for? I am fighting for my people, but who puts a battery in my pack is my grandmother because of the stuff that she has seen with her own eyes and that she's experienced, and it really has cost my family a lot of wealth. And then not only that, but just being present or being a child during the crack epidemic and seeing how San Francisco's Black neighborhood was basically detrimented, and it was due to government policy. So I want to get every cent that I am owed, and so, but I'm of the mindset that I know people say, oh, we're never going to get it, but I don't ever want to say that because I do believe in the power of words, and I just think that we need to really incentivize people and get with people who want to see America win. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are new to America, they do not want America to thrive, and so they don't give a damn about any justice. They don't give a damn about really anything. They're kind of acting as leeches. This is across the board of many different ethnicities. They don't have like the sweat in the game. They didn't build the stuff that we built. So I just came on here to implore everyone to not talk about the not, or not try not to focus on the not. And that does go into my beliefs where, it is, I believe it's Psalms 37 where it says, don't worry about evildoers, you just do the right thing and know that I got you. So I think that we all should just focus on what we want and and then do the work behind it. So I'm really thankful that you have been having these spaces, and hopefully everybody can get incentivized, because when Black Americans are protected, us not having protections has cost the GDP $16 trillion since 2020. So just by protecting Black Americans, that's going to do more for the GDP for everyone. But then there's no remittances. Our people are here. We've been here since before America was America, right? I actually stem from Black Americans who've been here in what is now known as Virginia, and they were even free Blacks, and they did become slaves, but we were here before in free communities before America was America. So and I'm not an anomaly. And I know that like a lot, and there's a lot of other stuff in there too, but I've been able to trace my lineage back that far. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you very much for bringing this space together. I want to say power to our people and to just get people to know like you can, anything that you can do, whatever your lane is, even if that's just showing up, that helps. That really, really does. And don't let nobody tell us what we can't get and you ain't gonna get that, because I remember they told me in high school, and I went to high school in the Bay Area, as liberal as it comes, that you'll never see a black president. Now granted, he ain't our kind of black, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? So they can't tell us what they don't dictate what we advocate for. And I'll land there.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up speaking tonight as well, too. So thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Iron Mo. No taxation. I'm gonna be getting to you in a second too. I definitely want to hear what you got to say, and like I said, we're gonna be discussing the conversation, the topics from yesterday, and anybody got any new things that they want to add as well too. Please come on up here and speak tonight. We definitely look forward to hearing from you. But how you doing tonight, Iron Mo?
Doing good, man. The thing is, all these other folks don't want us to have anything. It's more like we're getting pimped out. We play the sports. We set the influence, the inventions. We just set just the ideology of every little thing, and we do that, and they take credit for it. You got people want to reverse our history. You got people want to reverse anything we do. So they figured out if we have any type of money going on, that saying now we're gonna have to we can't just leech off of them like we usually do, because we usually leech off of them and it's for free. So it's kind of like a pimp in a movie saying, I might keep my lady fine, but she can't get no money, and that's the way it is. And that's the way they pull us. And once we get reparations, they know that they really can't do that anymore. I have people in my own family talking about, you need to work for what you get, and I'm sitting there listening to them. They still on this Democratic train. It's still on this thing. You got to trust and believe in your politics. The TV's not going to lie to you. I listen to the news all the time, and they going to lie to you. But your own people, somebody say something or doing good, let me see. We just got to get out of that mentality. Saying I might not get, reparations in my lifetime. Might look it up in the dictionary for some folks. Might, if was a fifth, But the thing is, saying I'm more worried about my future generations getting it, because it seems like people trying to take more and more from us. And I land my plane right there.
All right, appreciate that, Iron Mo. We go ahead and get back to Volvo. What's going on? And like I say, Brother McCool, original. I definitely want to hear from y'all. So no taxation. Definitely want to hear from you as well too, sister. But go ahead, Volvo. You got it.
Yeah. I just want to say, the reason why these other races, why they don't want us to have it, the brother was right. It's like they want to see us down. They never lived in a country where black people wasn't designated to be on the bottom by the government. They never lived. They never made it in a country. I'm gonna say that, made it in a country where black people wasn't designated to be on the bottom by the government. In their countries, they cheated each other. They sold each other out. So now they come over here, black people on the bottom, I can make it. I can open up a restaurant in these people's neighborhood. I can open up a corner store in their neighborhood. Hell no, I don't want to see them get nothing. You taking out my mouth. I'm taking advantage of these people. You taking out my mouth. They don't give a fuck about no America. They ain't got no American history. They talking about Latinos, the largest ethnic group, second largest ethnic house. So how? Half of these motherfuckers motherfuckers can't even speak the language. They ain't
Hey,
the same
Volvo,
people.
we're going to try to watch the cursing
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
You good, though. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
All right, brother. Huh?
Go ahead.
I'll let my
No, you got it. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I don't want to mess the space up with that, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, brother, like these people, they here in America because of the American dollar. That's it. So if they can make $1 over you, what you think? Like they ain't gonna want to see you have no dollars. They don't give a fuck about it. They don't got no history with this country. These people ain't got no history with this country. For some reason, the machine is giving these people a history. Giving these people a manufactured culture. They giving these people, they sending this guy out here, they sending these motherfuckers out, they sending these people out here. I land my plane, brother. Go ahead.
Hey, what you say, Bobo? You couldn't go without cursing? That's what you trying to say, man? Let me go ahead and okay, I see OG. I see you came up here as well too. So we got some speakers up here. Original, Brother McCool.
That's what I was saying, brother. And I'm cooking, bro. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, though, bro. All right.
Okay. We got okay, OG. You go ahead and unmute your mic. What's going on tonight?
Hey guys, everybody. Listen, shout out to you, Newstoter. Appreciate your space and the spaces that you give, man. Shout out to Professor.
Thank you. Appreciate that, brother.
Yes, sir. And shout out to
OG, man. I'm glad to see you, bro. I always love listening to you come up in these spaces.
I appreciate it, Doc. Shout out to the room too. Peace, power, reparations, Negro reparations, all reparations. Listen, I've already conceded that it's the younger generation that's gonna have to take us over the goal line. I already know that. That's a given, and that's reality. Okay. But my further point is that what the enemy or the opposition didn't factor on was that we was gonna have such brilliant young people. Okay, like you guys, man, there's so much scholarship coming your way, and uncovering the truth, and it's just a whole bunch of intellect that's coming out, and you guys are pacing yourself with it. Everybody's not accepting it because we always said question everything. We said that since I was a child. So we do question things. You guys question things. I've been really thinking about it, man. And I really appreciate you guys, man. I really appreciate the younger generation. All that you guys doing. The arguments, the disagreements. I mean, choosing a side. I mean, all of it. It's all relevant. But let me tell you what the enemy did not factor on. Okay, they didn't know this was going to happen. They didn't know we was going to end up being so brilliant. Our younger generation. They thought they was going to keep us down, and that our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids, and they thought everybody was just going to be dumbed down all the way down the line. But it's not so. Okay, you guys are emerging, into super beings, and I really mean that, man. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the brilliance that's coming out with our young generation, man. Y'all stay on that. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, OG. Let me give a shout out to my man Trenton as well, too. Trenton, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Let me see. I'm trying to see which one of our speakers up here. We got OG. He came up here. He spoke. What about you, Original? You want to go ahead and drop something in there? Or? Let's see if Original up here.
Okay, yeah, here I am. Yep. Well, like I said the other day, this has to do with the hate that these other people have for us, and how they want to try to segue themselves into being white. I mean, none of these people said anything when the Indians received reparations, but yet Jim Crow Joe was trying to include them with us. None of these people said anything when the Japanese received reparations. And it's because of what has been disseminated around the world regarding black folks for centuries. That's why these people have they have this hate for us. I mean, what's that little Asian boy trying to act like he's a black rapper? See, they love
China Mac or whatever his name is.
Yeah. They love to steal our culture, but they hate us. And we just have to start pointing this out to these people. And like, it's like now you see these some of these videos where they're calling each other the N word. And when I hear people like that, if I know what the pejorative word is for them, I call them that word, and I don't care if they get mad. And like I said, people are, well, you shouldn't do that. Why not? Why should I respect people that don't respect me? And so that's where this whole thing is. It's with the image that has been painted of us around the world. And even when some of these people see us and they see that we're not like those images, it has been seared into their mind. And that's the trump card that America has been trying to play. But I think it's beginning to crack some, whereby these people, they understand that, a wrong was done to us, and wrongs are still being committed against us today. But they act as if, and I'm so tired of hearing this thing about pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Well, we only got some penny loafers that ain't got they don't have no soles or heels on us, so we don't have any straps to pull. We've done that. We pulled ourselves up, but every time we do that, they come in on a seek and destroy mission, wanting to destroy everything. So, so I just say, just stay focused. All we got to do is stay focused, and we have to begin. As I told a sister this morning in DJ Space, I was telling her how she could make a pamphlet with, great talking points on why we are owed reparations, and and she went online and looked up it on YouTube, using Word, and we can do stuff like that, making sure we hit that we have a ground game, and that we disrupt these so-called Pan-Africans who think that they run stuff. No, we are not all African. You can call us that, but we are different people with different experiences and different cultures. And that's just being real. All this stuff about what I said earlier about, Cori Bush, and she's using those same tropes, trying to include everybody. And I told her, she knows that that's not going to work. And so we have to begin to dismantle what they are trying to do, making sure that they are exposed for the traitors that they are. Let's check this out. Newstoter, can you recall any time that African leaders have come to the White House if they said anything to the president or anyone regarding how we are treated in this country?
Not offhand, I cannot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think offhand.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man, that's a strong ass question.
Well, I can't think of one because I don't ever recall it ever happening. And they've been coming here for quite some time, but I cannot recall where they have, said anything to the leadership of this country as to how we are still being treated in this country. And so when people keep saying that, we are one people, that, that we're all Africans or whatever, if that is true, then they need to step up to the plate and support us. Because I can't recall that ever happening.
You just got a whole follow behind that one.
Got a whole what now?
Hey, real quick, Super Sean. I'm gonna get to you next, and then I got you as the next speaker. Go ahead and let him finish, and I'll go ahead and get to you. You got it original.
Yeah, but I just want to finish with that. I'm on land. I just want people to start posing that question to especially to the Pan Africans, if they have ever had an African leader from any country to come here and pose that question. Why are you treating black people the way you are in this country? And I don't recall to the it's not the Hague, but what's this other? What was the place that Malcolm X went to and he raised these issues on? I can't think of the name.
He went to, wasn't he in Ghana too or Mecca? He went to like a few places in Africa, I believe. I believe he went to Ghana.
But he went to a few places too.
It was a place in Europe that he went to. What is the place they always go to raise these kind of issues? I can't think of the name of it right now. It escapes me.
You're not talking about Geneva, are you?
Probably was Geneva.
Yeah, you got to be Geneva, I would think.
It was the Geneva Convention, original.
Okay, yeah, Geneva Convention, but I've not seen any of them raising issues. Now they will raise issues regarding themselves, but I cannot recall where any of these African countries or leaders have raised any kind of issues starting up. And I'm going to land with that, but I want people to think about that and begin to push that question, especially to Pan-African. And I land.
Okay, real quick, let me give a shout out to IMO and Ariel for their contribution on Cash App. Real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron, I want to go ahead and point you to the actual YouTube channel as well, too. The YouTube channel is the third one on the right-hand side. We were able to get a few people to subscribe to the YouTube channel last night, which was a great thing. Let's see if we can get at least 3-4 people to subscribe to the YouTube channel tonight as well, too. We're trying to grow that YouTube channel slowly but surely. We're starting to get people that's in the spaces to go ahead. It's the third one in the Jumbotron. If you guys, if you've already subscribed, that's great. If you have, go ahead and please tweet that link out as well too. Tweet it out to your followers, and maybe we can get some subscriptions from them as well too. So please definitely continue to use the word of mouth and let people know to go ahead and subscribe to the Newstoter YouTube channel. For any of you guys that's in the space that's not actually following Newstoter, please go ahead and follow Newstoter. Follow the host and the co-host. Remember that Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black media news curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black media news curation platform today in America. For those that would like to donate and support us on Cash App, that's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Once again, $Newstoter. For those that don't have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. The same for our people in YouTube. The Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal is up in the actual description on the YouTube channel. So thank everybody. I see DJ coming up in here as well, too. So, Super Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Look, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to try not to be long-winded, is the fact that a lot of these individuals seem to believe that Malcolm X, as well as Martin Luther King and so on and so forth, was supposed, wholehearted Pan-Africanists, and they were, we just need to have like unity and yada 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 yada. Both of these individuals, towards the latter portion of their years, i.e., before their demise, started speaking on the fact that non-immigrant Black Americans need to start looking out for our own best interests. And at this point in time, we still aren't doing that. So, I raised the question, like, when is your best interest supposed to be above an immigrant Black individual or immigrant period? When is your children's best interest, supposed to be above the interest of any and everybody coming across the border? Are you supposed to be thinking about it with yourself, your children, your grandchildren, or your great-grands? Because we see how individuals thought about this later on in their movements, and we're suffering through it now because individuals didn't put enough momentum behind it. We got to be focused on ourselves first. Fuck everybody else. Don't nobody else give a fuck about us. We see that in day-to-day
reactions and transactions with individuals. Don't nobody care about us. When are we gonna care about ourselves and our offsprings and so on and so forth? Fuck everybody else. And
Hey, real quick, Super Sean, let's try to watch the language, y'all. Everybody, let's try to watch the language.
my bad. I'm a Detroit dude, man.
No, you good. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead and keep cooking. You got it. Go ahead.
No, I was done, man. I'm done. But yeah, we gotta watch out for ourselves.
The only reason I'm saying the language, y'all, because sometimes on YouTube you got people whining and trying to get strikes on the channel now. Since we're live streaming, you got a bunch of lames that sit up here and try to get strikes. Look for any little thing they can to try to get the channel strike. So that's why I'm trying to tell everybody, yeah, let's kind of, I know it's going to be some slip ups here and there, whatever, but let's just, if we do curse, let's not just go into a tangent, y'all. Let's try not to go too much. Cause like I said, we got a bunch of lames out here that try to run back and get, and
Hey, Moose, I've been following you for a minute on YouTube, right?
okay.
I've been following you for a minute. You tell them lames, I got a whole pinky toe that I keep in steel toe boots. They can catch me on an off day and kiss my pinky toe with all their complaints. You feel me?
I feel you on that, bro. And let me say, I agree with you 100% on that. You know how these people are. They come up in and do supposed to be men, but they do a lot of feminine type things, right? I'm gonna just leave it like that, not without going too in depth. But let me go ahead. I see Professor up here. Before I get to you, Professor, let me go ahead and no taxation. You want to say something real quick tonight, sister? I know you're kind of quiet. Do you want to add into the conversation?
I will say this. I'm quiet because I showed so out last night. It takes a lot out of old people. When you show out one day, you got to lay down the next one and recuperate. Might be 2 days. And hello, everybody in the room, the co-host, the news. First, I want to say I apologize because I did do a lot of cussing yesterday.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. No taxation. No worry. Like I say, we just trying to, for the simple fact that we try not to get the channel with strikes because we do live stream it. And you got people that I've had a couple fools that, and luckily I was able to win those appeals. But you had a couple fools trying to get the channels get strikes on it. So that's one thing we're trying to do it. And we know in Twitter Spaces that's not going to be easy because, like I say, I myself on here sometimes curse as well too. The co-host curse. So we're trying to go ahead and not, if we can't eliminate it, let's go ahead and try to keep it to a minimal as much as possible.
Well, the other thing about it too, news, is that don't let it be because of me. Now, if it's because of you or somebody else, that's not on. But because of me, you can't ride on that wagon. I can't ride on that wagon because I'm doing the cussing and it falls on you. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be the one to do that. Now, having said that, I want to say this. There are more black folks, thanks to this generation that has brought the reparations conversation to the front of the stove instead of the back burner, that are with us than against us. Our problem is money. That's why we fight for reparations, right? We talk about economic repair. We don't have the money. They have the money and fewer voices because you keep hearing the same voices over and over and over again, and they have their talking points. The reason you don't hear our voices is because we don't have any money. And so we have to be that much louder. Our game has to be that much tighter, and we have to be in the public that much longer. And that's what we're up against. And like I say, you all have done a fabulous job of bringing this to the forefront, because this is something we've been fighting for centuries. This is not a new conversation for America. This is an old conversation, and it has to be settled one way or the other. One way or the other, it has to be settled, and it should be settled on our side. But it's a toss-up, and that's what happens in politics. And so I just wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say if anybody was offended yesterday that was in the room, not because of my cousin, but because of my passion, I make no apologies for that. And I'm gonna leave it there.
No, I don't think.
Saucy.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Saucy.
I don't think nobody was offended for you having passion. So you definitely, I don't think you definitely have to worry about that. And I don't think anybody was offended for the cursing either. You know, I don't think anybody's, oh, well, let me get up out of this space. It's just so much profanity or whatever. So it wasn't. It was nothing like that. So let me just go ahead and say that real quick. I see we got my man.
It sounds like I need to be cooking her a meal, just like I be cooking for my mom when I go over her house.
So let me go ahead real quick and get to Professor. DJ's up in the spot. Brother Muku, I definitely want to hear you what you got to say. And I want to hear some of our people down there. I see we got a bunch of folks up in here as well, too. A bunch of our usual sitting up here chilling. A Boogie, I see you up in the spot. Of course, Black Majority States here, Rod's here, Aunt Lies here, Miss T's here. I ain't heard from a girl Trouble like all week. Trouble, have I heard from you all week? I don't think I heard from you all week. So what's up, Trouble? We got Carlos, we got Cassandra, we got a bunch. I'm just scrolling now. I know people like, oh, don't say my name. I ain't coming up there. But yeah, I'm saying your name. I'm saying y'all name. But yeah, we got a bunch of FBA empresses up in the house as well, too. Y'all check her out in the liquor store. So definitely we got a bunch of our folks up in here as well, too. So I am. So y'all get a chance. Don't act brand new. Come on up here. This is something that you guys support, and you all push the agenda for. So definitely when you get a chance, I ain't twisting your arm, but when you get a chance, come on up here and say something. You ain't got to go for a minute or two. If you want to come up here and say something for 20 seconds, that's cool with us. Just want to hear what the people say. Like I said, this is part 2. Last night was a very, very good space. I'll say that it was you heard the passion from everybody coming out speaking as well too. So I definitely it definitely was a good space last night. So, and I also put that up in the jumbotron for anybody that missed last night's space. The very first on the left hand side, on the right hand side is the actual space from last night. If you guys missed it, go ahead and check that recording out as well too. Professor and DJ, before I get to you, let me go ahead and get to I Am. I see she came up here. So peace to this sister. So definitely glad to hear from another sister. We had No Taxation, and we had Why The. She was up here early as well too. So I Am, how you doing tonight?
Peace, power, reparations, family. I'm good. I'm good. I'm still working, but I just wanted to shout y'all out and make sure y'all was good. We're gonna get reparations. You know, we gotta claim it. So I make sure every morning when I open my eyes, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, we gonna get reparations. You know, you gotta claim it, you gotta feel it, you gotta believe it, you gotta say it. So I make sure I say it every day, and I ask everybody, you know, join me in saying this every day, because the power of words is unbelievable. You know, and we are such powerful people. We are such spiritual people. And when we come together and speak in unison the same things, it will happen. So, you know, prepare what you're going to do with your money. You know, prepare what you're going to do with your money, because it's coming, baby. Y'all be safe out here.
All right. I am glad to hear from you tonight. I know one thing a lot of people say too, like they say, and we hear it all the time, and there's some truth. And I know people say, well, as soon as we get the money, you know, it's going to get right back in the hands of white folks, because they got the entire infrastructure and everything created already. They got the banking and the financial system. They have the real estate sold up. They got this, they got the auto industry and everything else that we can think of. So as soon as we get that money, you know, a lot of them it's going to go right back to them in a couple years, of not the same month, the same year, whatever. I don't know what really we can do about that, because, you know, that's something that's taken place for hundreds of years, that they were able to go ahead and secure these industries. So I don't really know. I wish, you know, we had thriving industries right now. So, hey, as soon as that money did touch our hands, you know, we can go ahead and put it in black owned banks, and we can go to black car dealerships and you know, everything, you go to black real estate agents and construction workers and contractors and everything else like that. I wish we could go ahead and get it like that. We don't. I know that once you got the money, those type of industries could be created. And we do have people out there in the black community right now that are capable of doing things of that aspect. Now, I just saw recently, and not to get off subject, but Magic Johnson is part of a group that's buying the Washington Commanders, a football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. So you think about that and you say, well, Magic has been vital. He's been in a lot of different business ventures and stuff like that. Like, we need people like Magic and some of these other guys to go ahead and start, start creating black financial sectors, start creating black banking systems and things of that nature, start creating black townships. And, it'd be nothing to go ahead. I know a lot of times our people want to go ahead and they want to take their money and they want to go ahead and they want to buy some of these black franchises, the Pizza Huts and the Domino's and the McDonald's and the Wendy's and stuff like that. But, there are a lot of black businesses and stuff, smaller black businesses where, if you were to go ahead and holler at these people by franchise, and it would be a lot cheaper and would also, be a lot more beneficial if you started going, maybe they went to Atlanta and you got a chicken restaurant there, you got a rib shack, you got a dry clean, you got whatever, a black pizza place. And you say, you know what, I'm interested in franchising and putting one of your stores, in LA or something like that. I like to see us actually create revenue and generational wealth for our own people. Like, I know we quick to go out there and they're quick to buy the Starbucks and everything like that because they're proven commodities. But these are the people that actually have the actual financing and the capabilities where, one, they would make money, and also they would also help they would help also the actual people that own these businesses do the same thing as well too. So I know Brooke, she's on YouTube, and Brooke said we have people doing that. I think, Brooke, we just need people doing that at a much larger sense. We need at a larger scale, and we need some of these black people that are billionaires or multi-millionaires to go ahead and do that as well too. Let me go ahead, Professor and DJ. We got Miss T up here as well too. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, Professor, and we'll go ahead and get to Miss T as well.
Thank you, that Newstoter. Peace, power, reparations to everybody in the space. Good to see all the Newstoter family, and of course, those are my usual suspects. And it's good to see everybody else too, of course. Let me say this. I know in DJ's late night space, and there's our late night man right there. He finally showed up. WPI, everybody. WPI, the late night host with the most. That's him. In the space last night, I heard some negativity, and I'm just going to say this, and I'll say my piece on it, and then I'll be done with it. That is, we got people coming up in spaces still saying that they don't think we're going to get. They don't think we're going to get the reparations. That we pretty much are not going to get it. They're not going to give it to us. I hear this kind of stuff coming from dark-skinned, melanated people that are Black American. I'm assuming they are Black American coming up in these spaces. And I heard it last night quite a few times, and it bothered me because that's the negativity that our people don't need to hear. See, our people don't need to hear that. We are trying to do something here that's going to benefit our people. This is a movement that we're trying to do to make sure that we can pass on generational wealth to our kids and kids and kids and kids on down and on down. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to pass it on down because we need repair. And we need to make sure that our kids coming in the future, grandkids, whatever, coming in the future, can have something in this nation that our ancestors built. This is our country. This is ours, y'all. We can't just leave this nation and go somewhere else like these other groups can. See, these other groups can take their asses, excuse my French, they can take themselves back to their lands. We can't do that. This is it right here for us. So this is the stomping ground for Black Americans. So I don't want to hear people coming up in our spaces talking about, they're not going to give us these reparations. Now, if you're coming up in these spaces with that attitude, please don't come. That's what I say on that. Please don't come. And the Newstoter space is a Black American space. It's a very respectable space. Informational driven, encouraging, uplifting, and it is about Black Americans, okay? And I know Newstoter is all about people giving their opinion, but I think that opinion is a bad one that you don't need to bring up in this space, or even the DJ space, or even Black Majority State space, Brother Muko space, Sister Rilla's space, Sister Trouble's space. I'm naming out all of the Newstoter families. You know, I'm naming everybody out, right? I can't see anybody coming up in these spaces talking about we're not going to get reparations, right? Please don't do it. I hate it. And I'm going to land right there.
All right, Professor. I agree with you, like I said, and my thing is this right here, and I've said it numerous times in the space, even if I don't see it in my lifetime, as long as my kids or grandkids or great grandkids, I I don't care. The work is done. Whether I get it in directly or my people get it indirectly, or I don't care. To me, that would be a success. Yeah, I would love to have it in my lifetime, but we know tomorrow ain't promised. We all know that. So only thing we can do is try to prepare for future generations. I would love to have it, but if I can't get it, my kids can get it. If they can't get it, their kids can get it. If they can't get it, their kids can get it. As long as somebody in that line gets it, and I want it done sooner than later. Make no mistake about that. But as long as somebody in my family line can get it, to me it would have been well worth it. There's a bunch of our people, our ancestors that never got a chance to get it or whatever, and I'm sure if they could look down on us and if we were to get it, they would be more than happy. They're like, oh well, at least they got it. At least now they're on equal footing somewhat. So they would be happy about that. And I think we need to feel that same way. I know we got some hands up here. I see my girl Trouble came up here, so I'm glad to see Miss Trouble. It's been a little minute since she's been up here, but I'm glad to see her coming up here as well too. So let me go ahead, DJ. I'm gonna let you go ahead, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it to the speakers.
No, I'll be quick. Professor, you don't call trouble over here. Now we all in trouble. See that shit? No, real rap. But hey, even though I just kind of cuss, but chill out with the cussing, I guess. You know what I mean? The kids kind of be watching us now. So there you go. You know what I mean? Plus, like I said, this is time capsule material. We don't want to sound like fools to our family members in the future.
My kids, hey, real quick, my kids, they love to hear the cursing though. I have to tell them to chill out, but they love to hear it though.
They practicing to curse the white man now. That's why.
You want to add something, DJ?
Nah, that's it. Same talking points and sister taxation. We're right. I'm long-winded from last night. On my day just getting started. Damn.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and I'm gonna go to Miss T, Aunt Lie, Trouble, Volvo, and Black Majority. How you doing tonight, Miss T?
Hey, Newstoter. What's up, DJ and Professor?
How you doing, Miss T?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, and no taxation. Nobody was offended. We were all right there feeling every bit of emotion along with you. So have no hang-ups about that at all. Before I go into the topic, has anyone heard from Black Native?
I haven't heard from Black Native. No, I haven't.
Okay, well, I'll just say a special prayer for Black Native. It's been a moment. We miss you, sis. And one thing I would like to offer to you, Newstoter, last night's space was a great space. It was a Grammy Award-winning space. If you could package up that space, you might want to remove some of the cursing, but leave some of the realness in it. And I think last night's space should be a space that you submit to the Grammys for an award. They give talk shows and things like that awards. I'll look up what exact title you could go under. But hell, if Kobe Bryant can get an award for writing a children's book, you can get an award for having spaces and YouTubes on reparations and our fight to receive reparations. And I'm with you, I am. We're getting reparations.
I'm going to get it before I leave this earth. So we got to get busy. And I'm with you. I will touch and agree with you that, waking up every day and speaking positive things. And even just by saying when you wake up, when you're brushing your teeth, we're getting reparations. That could make all the difference because we're putting that positive energy into the atmosphere. And if these people that come against it, rebuke them and get them out of your space or drop them. Say, we don't do that in this space. We don't speak negatively against reparations. We only speak powerful thoughts and positive thoughts. And why most Americans oppose reparations? Because they fear a Black planet. They fear what the hell these Black folks gonna do if they are no longer the bottom caste. Some of them think we're coming after them. Nobody's bothering you. We could care less about you. Our repair is for our repair and for building our nation for our generations to come forever and evermore. Has nothing to do with you. We could care less. Personally, I'm separating from other races. I'm going to be with my folks. And lastly, Newstoter, Alonzo Mourning, I don't know if y'all remember him. He was a basketball player.
Oh, yeah, we know Alonzo.
Yeah, he's in Florida and he's building low income housing. The rents start from $427 a month and it maxes out at $1317 per month. He does, and it's going to be 120 units. And he also is leaving some units. I think it's 20 units for those 62 and above. So maybe we can, kind of get together and find out who amongst all of these people who are Black that are building, and maybe we can find out how we can be a part of it, or how can we get them to come to our individual cities and do the same thing, because they're getting grant monies. This is not money he's taking out his own pocket, but he has people that are grant writers that are getting the money for him, and he was able to get the land, and it's already, I think it's like 80% done. I'll get the article and I'll send it to you, Newstoter. But we have people that are doing it. Y'all saw what Magic Johnson did for years. He was building Black communities all over the United States. But a lot of times we just didn't take care of it. But with that, I'll go ahead and land my plane, and we are getting reparations.
Thank you, Miss T, and I appreciate the shout out you gave me too on the actual submitting it to the Grammys. I would definitely that's definitely something worth thinking about. Only thing I would say is knowing the way the Grammys are and how they are. I don't know how big a fan they would be on the reparations movement, but you're right. But you're right. We do need to start trying to repackage this stuff, and this is something DJ says all the time. So, yeah, you're definitely right about that. We definitely need to go ahead and start repackaging and more than anything, getting it out there to the people that's not on social media and that's not on Twitter and stuff. Some of our people on the campuses and whatnot. Some of our young folks. So you definitely made a very valid point, and trust me, I hear that from WPI all the time as well too. So we definitely I just got to go ahead and get on the ball. But you're right about that, sister. So I just want to give you a shout out on that great advice that you just shared with me. So I definitely appreciate that. Let me give a shout out to DJ too for his contribution on Cash App. So definitely, Miss T, I heard you there, sister. Like I say, me and DJ, we have that talk quite often as well too. So let me go ahead and get to Miss Aunt Lie. Miss Aunt Lie, how you doing tonight, Aunt Lie?
How you doing? Peace, play, power, and reparations. I'm gonna be quick. I know I always say that, and I never am, but I'm just serious this time. I'm gonna be short and sweet.
That boy wasn't long-winded.
No, I want to say honestly because I was in tears. Yes, I'm always crying, but the space was so good yesterday, and what I really want to say, I just want to say this is taxation. Your passion, I'm trying not to cry. Your passion and your fight.
I think she stepped away from one. I think she stepped away from 1 second, live. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say it to her. She can hit a record. Hopefully, somebody tell her about it. But her passion that she has, not just for herself but for her people, and her understanding, just like her, but I can't even put it into words. The fight that you have, because when you know, the odds are stacked against you, but you have your mission in your mind, and you're gonna do whatever you want to do, regardless, because you know it got to be done. And when you do it for some people, sometimes people don't know about it. People ain't grateful about it. You know, you put your life on the line, but you're still willing to do. Too many people like that. Really, not too many people that's willing to put their life on the line just for their people. Because, I got this house, I like living. Back in the day, with the assassination of a lot of the leaders, that scared a lot of folks. Like, these people not playing, they playing for keeps. But the fact that she's willing to put her, and I believe she said she's in, and she's still fighting. I just want to thank her because she's not just fighting for her. She's fighting for my kids' kids. She's literally fighting for my grandkids, and she's okay with that. And not too many people are willing to not just talk about it, be about it. And I just thank her for fighting for me and mine. And because of her and people like her, I know I can fight. And when I want to give up and throw in the towel, which these cracking actors, they get on my nerves. It's because I know that she fight and how she fight and what she's doing and how she's literally putting her life on the line. And like she said, she got a rest. I'm not saying that she's not a spring chicken, but she's still out here handling her business. Like, let's not be fooled. Black don't crack and all that. But at a certain point in time, you want to be able to look at all your life's work and see, I did, and she's still willing to fight, even though she did do it, even though her daddy did it, and that means so much. And I just thank her and I appreciate her so much. That's one thing I really did want to say. Like, I was literally in tears because not too many people have fight for their people. There's a few people that I know like that. I don't even know them personally, but the fact that I can even be in the space and me and somebody that I know was breathing that same air at the same time, that is a beautiful thing. And I thank her because not too many people is willing to do it for their people. And I don't think people understand the magnitude when people put their life on the line for a cause, because we don't see that nowadays. People put their life on the line to get them sneakers. You know what I mean? The fight over this girl, the beef, to get the booty, the BBLs, but we don't really see, she really doing it for her people. And she not just talking about doing it. She doing it. So I just have so much respect and props for her, and I love her, and I thank her for giving me the strength when I feel like I'm giving up because, I'm in here my little fight. But I know I can do it because of her, because she did it. She done showed me the blueprint. When I get confused and I don't know what to do, I'm out of here up in the DM. Like, look, I need you over here in Jersey after you finish this reparations fight. So I just thank you and I appreciate her. For the bottom of my heart, this Black Girl Magic, and she literally is the personification of that in real life. And I'll let my plane.
All right. Thank you, Aunt Lot. Thank you. Let me read a comment real quick from Franklin on YouTube. Franklin says, the reason why most Americans are against reparations is because the would-be recipients are Black. No other reason. And you'll get no argument from me on that either, Franklin. I agree 100%. Let me go ahead and kick it to Trouble. What's going on, Trouble? Long time no hear. I ain't heard from you in a minute.
Hey, Newstoter. I hope you're doing well, brother. DJ, Professor.
Absolutely. I hope everything's good with you as well, too.
Yeah.
How you doing,
Hey, Professor.
How you doing?
Hey now, brother Boo in the house. Black majority state up in the cut. No taxation. Hope everyone's doing well in the whole group, the whole house up in here tonight. So I'm really just taking a little small break. So I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to be funny or not coming into your spaces for any particular reason. Just I think I stepped into Black Majority State this weekend and just kind of briefly said, well, I don't know how brief I am because y'all know I'm long-winded, but sometimes I do myself step into a dark place, or I do step into a place to where I'm looking at everything around me and it starts to bother me, it starts to affect me because I'm the type of person that likes solutions, I like action, and when I'm not seeing it, it kind of dampens my spirit a little bit because I start to feel some ways, how you want to swing on somebody, but you can't because the popo standing right next to you. You don't want to go to jail. So sometimes looking at everything going on, it makes me feel like it's a whole lot I want to do, but I can't because, court fees and jail ain't necessarily a place I want to be. But, you know what I'm saying? If I can get out of the state, maybe. So just have to take a step back and realize that sometimes my voice isn't always needed when you take a little bit of a break and get other people the opportunity to speak and let their thoughts be sound. And everybody don't always appreciate my voice, and I don't necessarily always care. I'm just saying that, sometimes it's good to let other voices be heard. And so I sometimes cause a lot of waves. One real quick. Now, Pharaoh, please turn that music down, baby. Or close that door. And so, I just had came back from a community view and turn that stuff off, boy. I just came back from a community meeting where there was a senator. I didn't know he was a senator. I just know it was a man sitting back in the cut that always had something to say every time I had something to say. So we kind of bumped heads a little bit. There was a state representative that was there, and it was really kind of annoying, and it was kind of clear as to why a lot of times we don't get to where we really need to be. Is because we've got these black places in certain spaces that are not advocating for us in the way that we need them to advocate for us. When talking about the black community, and we delved into a conversation of the youth, and so I agreed to head the committee to where we start finding things for the kids to do for the summer so that they're not causing havoc in the neighborhoods and communities. But the senator wanted to focus on, the incident that happened outside of our community with a bunch of kids who were from all over the city where there was a shooting and several of the kids got shot. All of them, thank God made it out alive, but there were several kids that got shot. And so he wanted to focus on that, and I kept trying to bring him back to solutions and what we needed from the state reps, the resources that we needed. And it was like he was opposing me at every step so that he could say, yeah, all of that is well and good, but you parents need to take accountability for your kids and okay, we know all of that, but let's delve into some solutions, because the truth of the matter is there is a lot of parents who try. They don't know what to do. Their hands are tied. They're at work when their kids are doing A, B, and C, and then we got some ain't shit parents. So as a community, as a village who is supposed to take care of our children, what can we do? So these are the solutions I'm trying to bring. These are the things. But he still wanted to focus on what, the kids that go to jail and they could be incarcerated and, they keep getting bonded and bonded out. We don't need these kids bonded out on the street. And it was a really frustrating conversation. And I love my older generation people, but a lot of the people that show up to our community meetings are the older generation, and they don't know what to do. They're not always receptive to new ideas, even though they want you to bring these ideas. But there's still stuff on, when I was a kid, this is what happened. Okay, you got to move with the times. And so we have senators and people in places who are still with that same sort of mindset as well. Then when we're talking about bringing jobs to the community, where he wanted to focus on, we have this $1 million project coming to the black community. We've been able to do this $1 billion project that we're bringing to the black community. But then when I brought up the fact that we're being gentrified, and when you bring these type of things to the black community, we are not the ones who are getting these jobs. You all keep bringing people from outside of the community to take these jobs. When I brought up the makeup of the neighborhood and the community and how it's changing, and all of the people who
are moving into our areas. All of the corporations that are buying up homes in the area, when you bring these industries into our area, it cuts the homes. So he was talking about, well, we're going to be building homes on top of homes so that people will have apartments to live in and they'll be stacked on top of each other. Well, who wants to live like that? So you're taking homes away from people to bring in these industries or these industrial plants into our neighborhoods to where you're still knocking people out of houses because you're going to build some apartments where we live on top of each other. Who asked for that? And again, when you bring these jobs here, who is working these jobs? Because when I go up the street, I don't see the black workers doing construction anymore. I don't even see the white workers doing construction anymore. What I see are Mexicans and Ukrainians. So who are these jobs going to? They're not going to us, but you're raising the property taxes, which makes the landlord raise the rent, which pushes us out. And the people who no longer wants to commute to come to these jobs are now taking over our community. Our schools are overrun with Mexican children, and what are you all doing to address it? They don't want to address our issues, and that is part of the problem to why we can't get to where we need to be as a people, as a community, because we have too many people who are supposed to be advocating for us, but are not really doing it because they have a different type of mindset. And it's not even an old school mindset. It's an old school mixed with whitewash mindset because it's all about the economics and the economy and what they can do, to keep their position, on Capitol Hill or at the State House. And it's becoming extremely, extremely frustrating. Now, I know, I don't know if Professor was in that space where I was with Black this weekend, and I kind of brought a little bit of my bad juju in there. And I don't know if that's what he was talking about because I wasn't in DJ's space much last night.
No, I wasn't talking about that one. So it was talking about something in DJ's space last night that I heard.
Yeah, I kind of brought a little bit of that energy when I was in Black space, and I do apologize for that. And it's not that I don't think that we're going to get reparations. My thing is just is being positive is not more important than being real to me. And to me, it's when I say it's not going to be easy for us to get these reparations. It's going to be hard. This is a goddamn fight, tooth, nail, and blood. So if they are not willing to give us these reparations, how we think they're going to give us these reparations as a people, Black people, what are we willing to do? And so my whole thing is not to say we're not going to get it, but we need to start thinking on another level. If they're not willing to give it like we think they're going to be willing to give it, if we do this, if we do that, if we advocate for this, if we show up like this, what the hell are we willing to do? After that, we need to start thinking on that level. That's just me. That don't mean that's what needs to happen. That's just how I'm thinking. And so I ain't going to keep it up because I know there's other hands that's up. I love my people. I love fighting for my people. Sometimes I need to take a break, step back, and get my own mind and thoughts in order so that I don't bring bad juju and bad energy into the mix, because I realize that I'm militant-minded, and I'm always willing to be in the trenches, and not everybody is willing to be in the trenches and willing to be sitting back in the dark in the cut, doing whatever it takes to do whatever it takes. But that's why there are so many different ones of us with so many different opinions, so many different skill sets, because what you're not willing to do, I might be willing to do. What you might want to go door to door and make phone calls, I might not be willing to do that. But I will have your back. I'll be the sister back in the cut, standing in the dark. I have your back like that, because there's some things that I can do that you can't do. Some things that you can do that I can't do. So there it is. Love y'all. Reparations up.
All right. Thank you, Sister Trouble. Glad to hear from you. And like I said, glad to have you back. I can understand that you need some time away, but I'm glad that I've seen you a couple of times in the spaces. I know you were down listening and stuff. I saw you in here yesterday as well, too. So shout out. I know sometimes people come into space, they don't feel like talking. So I definitely can feel you on that. And I'm glad that you're back as well, too. So thank you for coming into the space tonight and speaking for us as always. Love to hear what you got to say. Let me go ahead real quick and get to Black Majority State. Let me get to our new speakers, Black Majority State. We get to Brother McCoo as well, too. So, Black, how you doing tonight?
Hey, how's it doing? Can you come back to me after the next person?
Okay, no problem. Let me go ahead and go to Brother Muku then. Brother Muku, what's going on?
What's up, family? Shout out to everybody in the space. Trouble. What's going on, baby? No taxation. Miss TA by.
What else? I don't know what happened this morning in that space last night, but it was.
Yeah, I was trying to get up to the speed. I can hear everybody, but I'm gonna definitely keep it sweet because I don't want to repeat everything that everyone's already said. But I will say this: Reparations 2023. No matter how many, no matter how many glitches they try to throw in, it's gonna mean something because we're gonna show up. I'm gonna be there because I see all of the pushback that we're getting, and I know from life experience when you get pushback, especially from the white supremacists, that you're doing something right. So Reparations 2023, yeah, the reason why Americans or white Americans are opposing this is because they know that knowing that this will create not just generational wealth for us, but this will kind of bump up this, dead ass economy as well. We are more organized now than we have ever been. Reason why I say this, even with Black Wall Street and all of the positive things that happened in that era, I still stick 10 toes down on what I just said. The reason why is because we are all not just talking the same points. We are mastering these points. We are verbally saying them, not just in this space, but in the places that we are individually. And I know that doesn't look powerful, standing in a space looking at this, but it is a powerful, very, very powerful thing. We are old, and the only way that we're going to get what's old is if we show up and keep showing up, doing the work, not being afraid to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people I know and have seen get in front of white people and they start switching up shit. Start switching up their talking points. Start, oh, well, it's not all about cash and it's not all about this. We've been sticking 10 toes down on what our mission is. And I just say continue doing that on 1 million. You know what I'm saying? When I get around white people, I get in question mode. Y'all already know my mode. I'm asking for lists. And I've only gotten a list from one white person so far. But I think the more and more we harp on reparations, repair what's owed, I think that my approach as far as asking for a list of white supremacists who practice racism. And if you can't give me that, then you're not a white person. You're a white supremacist. I'm just trying to think of more codified ways of asking questions and getting the right answer. So I just want to commend everybody in this space for doing just that and going hard in the paint. And all our employers that we do more of that. And I land it.
Okay, thank you, Brother McCoo. As always, guys, we were able to get 1 subscriber to the actual YouTube channel tonight. Let's see before the space closes if we can at least get up to 3 subscribers on the YouTube channel. The third on the right-hand side is where you can go up in the actual Jumbotron. That's the third on the right-hand side. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please support us by subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you have already subscribed to it, then go ahead and please go to the actual Jumbotron, the third on the right-hand side, and retweet out that actual the actual link as well, too. That helps as well, too. So if you've already subscribed to the YouTube channel, then just go up to the Jumbotron, and retweet out the actual link as well too for those that want to support us on Cash App, and we're looking for at least $1 contribution. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. If you guys got $1 that you can contribute to the night or to the actual Newstoter. Remember, Newstoter is the largest Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. The largest Black-owned, Black America news media curation platform today in America. If you guys have $1 or $2 that you can spare or donate or contribute to the Newstoter platform, it would be greatly appreciated. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron, and I believe, because we got a lot of stuff up in there now, I believe that is the 5th on the actual right-hand side. So for those that do have Cash App and that can spare $1 or $2, please, we would definitely appreciate those that can donate to the nice Twitter space and to the actual platform. Because like I said before, Newstoter is more than just a Twitter space. So, and for you guys that have not been to newstoter.com, because we tweet out major content daily, make sure you visit newstoter.com daily. That should be an exercise. Click on one of the articles to the actual from the website that we click out, read the article. If you want to click to read more, go to the actual website where the entire article could be at. You can go ahead and do that as well too. For those, sometimes people have an issue of clicking on the read more. That means that you have your pop-up blocker is stopping you from being able to click and read the actual article. So you may have to disable your pop-up blocker. Most people don't have that issue, but some people do. They have pop-up blockers enabled. So that means when you click the read more to actually take you to the site, it's stopping you. So you may have to disable that. Let me give a shout out real quick to Gene and to Jimmy. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. So definitely, guys, make sure you visit newstoter.com daily. It's no reason with our people that's up in the Twitter spaces that we shouldn't at least every day get 150 to 200 people just from the Twitter family going to visit the site daily. And when I look at the Google Analytics, we sometimes don't get that. I believe last time I checked, for the month we was averaging something like 99 visits a day, 91 or 95 visits a day, I believe, from Twitter. So there's no reason, and that's the average. That don't mean that's every day. There's no reason with all the amount of content, and we're putting out news, politics, education, entertainment. We're putting out health, financial, business, and everything else. Is no reason with our people that support the Twitter spaces that we can't get you guys to at least go visit, read a little bit, surf. Even if you don't even want to read the article, just surf the site for a little bit and say, okay, let me go back to Twitter. So there's no reason, guys, why we shouldn't be able to get our people. We talk about supporting Black-owned business. We are very vocal about saying, let's support Black-owned business until it's actually time to support Black-owned business. You can't get any more simple than just visiting the site for a minute. Just 1 minute a day. And, you can go right back to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. But it doesn't take anything to visit a site for 1 minute and go back. Let me go ahead. I see Black Majority States up here as well. So how you doing, Black?
Hey, how are you, Newstoter?
Doing good, sir. Doing good.
Good. Shout out to everybody in the space. So I'm going to hit 3 real quick points. So I've been checking the Reparations GoFundMe, and it stopped at 555, and I want to point this out because the number 666 is a number that I see in triplicates all the time, and these, when you see 3 digits like that, it's usually they call them angel numbers. Sometimes it's 4 digits, but it's usually 3. So 555, and this is what's so relevant to this conversation, calls us to take action. It is an action number, 555. So I feel like that's very, very relevant for what we talk about, action being the most important part. I want to move to the Cori Bush, $14 trillion reparations resolution, which someone in last night's space stated that's not a bill, that there's no legislation involved. It's essentially a statement. So they have Barbara Lee there, and they're surrounded by members of Narcan and Cobra, and all the pictures that I see and in these videos. And so they have the inside track on these federal reparations. This is. I mean, they've been advocating at that level for a very long time. They have the inside track, and this is who the Congressional Black Caucus goes to for this particular topic. Now, they came up with this number, 14 trillion. Like I said, I think it's close to Darity's number. His might be 17 trillion. I'm not 100% sure. However, this is the one pie example. So when you create a number that is this number, it's one number, and then you have to divide it by the amount of people that would be eligible. When you have one number, it creates a problem when they're trying to squeeze in the diaspora. So I did the quick calculations. There's about 10 million African diasporas here. That would equal $280,000 per eligible recipient if all 50 million quote unquote black people in this country got reparations based on this $14 trillion number. It reduces the benefit to the black American descendant by $70,000 per person. So like me, I've got a pretty big family, siblings, brothers, nieces, nephews, etc. There's probably 20 to 30 of us just from my mother, and all of her children and nieces and nephews, whatever. So even with 10, you're talking about $700,000. With 20, you're talking about $1.4 million reduction in eligibility reparations because they've shoehorned and stuffed these 10 million African diaspora people who shouldn't get a penny or a dime. If anybody who's listening or anybody has any contacts to the people who are doing these reparations legislation, instead of coming up with one big number, the most logical solution would be to come up with a per person number. Because if that per person number was 400,000, to be quite honest, it wouldn't matter who they gave it to, because the number is always going to be the same. It can't be taken away from the bigger pot, in other words. And I'm saying that because Darity, who was in the space last night, he posted this sometime between yesterday and today. He said, and this is in reference to this resolution, he said there's problems with the resolution. It's convoluted eligibility criteria, which makes it possible for persons living as white who have African ancestry to receive reparations, and the endorsement of the egregious HR 40 bill. So we know the HR 40 bill is bad. And so this is the question that I have for the room. Because Narcan and Cobra have the inside track. They have the inside track on the federal reparations. They've been in these people's ears. Matter of fact, John Conyers, when I went to their Detroit annual convention right after I wrote my book, he was there. I think that might have been one of his last events, the original, sponsor of the HR 40. So they've got this long track record of this inside track on a federal level. And I want to give two options. Because I know we like to gatekeep and white supremacy, white degeneracy, whatever you want to call it. They don't really care about that. They're going to do what they do at the end of the day. And they negotiate down to get it to where they feel comfortable. If the option is, one, white lineage persons, or the second option is this African diaspora. You can only choose one of those. I know we all want to gatekeep and keep everybody out, but we got to be realistic of who we're dealing with and look at everything that's on the table. The table says Narcan and Cobra, if they push this shit through, the Africans get it, period. It's done. There's no real argument there. Darity's highlighting the fact that, oh, by the way, whites will get it too based on the way the shit is written. Excuse me. So that is my question. If you had to pick one of the two, what would you pick? And I'll end with that.
Oh, wow. That's a way to end. That's a way to end too. Oh man. Well, damn. Hold on real quick. We gonna get to you, Mr. Engagement. I see you up here as well too, and no taxation. She's got her hand up here as well too. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna get to Yup, and then I'm gonna get to Volvo, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get to the new speakers as well too. So go ahead, Yup.
Hashi Squirrel Buffalo. Good evening. DC reparations rally. Why most Americans oppose reparations? I think people. First of all, Trouble. I came up because I thought you were talking to me because you were describing my mood, the place I'm in right now, and I find it curious that y'all are having a serious discussion about the resolution, HR 40. We just had a Democratic majority. There's like literally no way in hell that this legislation is ever going to pass. So I don't even know why it's even a serious topic of discussion. And it's meant, obviously as a pander as we move into the election cycle. And I would really just ignore it. The language in the actual bill that came out is something that Barbara Lee had been talking about, which is the Truth and Reconciliation Bill, and it mentions, which you guys have probably already talked about, people of color and every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But at the end of the day, that's never going to go anywhere. Like never, ever, never. It's never going to pass. So it is, a complete waste of time. And why is reparations so hard? After 4 years in this, I'm wondering, if I've been wasting my time, all the personal sacrifices I have made. I've even rescheduled, dream job interviews and fucked my own self up, in pursuit of this goal of reparations, of moving the needle. And my conclusion is, after much research, I make the joke that we are like the stars of the Truman Show. Everybody around us is an actor, and everybody's in on it. And, we're just finding out that everybody's in on the joke, and we're just finding out about it. Reparations for slavery, I think I was going to have a room about it, but I think it's, in my opinion, is a political joke on us. It keeps us trapped. The focus on the transatlantic slave trade is really more of a lobbying effort that's been ongoing for like the past 60 years or so. The Pan-Africanists, etc., have used this basically as a lobbying effort to extract foreign aid from the United States, completely leapfrogging us. And all that we're seeing in terms of people in positions of power on MSNBC and politicians who we find out are not really us. I've just recently discovered there is an actual agenda, Africa 2063, and the African Union, sixth region, part of the African Union, which we, the United States, are what they call the African Union sixth region, USA, and their goal, their mission is to establish a stronghold here in the United States and to advocate for people of African descent and Africans in America. And listening to Cori Bush, she used exactly that language. And by the way, her mother is not a Negro. And all in, I don't think we were ever really supposed to jump on the HR 40 and the reparations bandwagon the way we did around 2018. I think that was a phenomenon that happened, and they were just minding their own business, getting their foreign aid and appealing to the United States that they had lost collateral, us, and, just like the white slave owners did, demanding reparations. I think reparations would be a layup for us if we stop talking about reparations and start talking about genocide. The proof of genocide, the consequence of genocide is reparations. And all of this talk about, international construct, well, chattel enslavement is not covered under international law. It might be a crime against humanity, but it's not covered by international law, but genocide is. And our fight, and when I talk to white people, conservatives, and we talk about reparations, quote unquote, for slavery, we're always vulnerable and subjected to, whataboutisms, and there's global slavery, slavery's legal, and all those are the case. But when you talk about genocide, that's impervious to people who try to hop on. You can't front on genocide. And genocide requires that we have some sense of group self-esteem, group love, that we value ourselves here in the present as opposed to fetishizing Africans, fetishizing our ancestors, fetishizing hashtags, and only valuing ourselves when we're dead. But genocide, we don't need to trace back to Africa. We don't need to trace back to a plantation. We just need to know who we are, descendants of Negroes, freedmen, and understand that we have every possible statistic that proves genocide here in the present day. And that's the one thing we don't talk about. And what we've done is we've essentially given up an entire chunk of our identity, which is why it's under attack by Asians and Hispanics. We're so busy, wallowing in slavery and Jim Crow and redlining, and then being subjected to people having the nerve to tell, well, that's not you, and you didn't live through those times. But then we overlook the fact that our mothers, our infants are dying at 3 times the rate. That COVID, we had triple the death rates because people are living on top of each other, trouble like you were saying. Who wants to live like that? COVID revealed that this tenement living one on top of all that close quarters, that's not really an optimal way to live. The disparities in government contracts, where we are typically 15% of the qualified contractors, but only getting 1%, and we're missing out on billions and billions of dollars per year while paying taxes at the same time. These are the things that the establishment, that white people understand. But when you talk about us in present day and we try to connect to slavery, it just doesn't add up. We don't want to hear that. We all know we weren't slaves, but we don't attribute the appropriate value to our lives today and what is happening to us in real time. And I think that the conversations that I've had, that's the time when there is a breakthrough. They're like, I don't get slavery, but, I guess I could see if you were talking about, mass incarceration or police killings, but we don't ever frame it in that way, even though international law is squarely on our side. Genocide has been declared or presented since the UN opened its doors in 1953. So I think that most Americans oppose reparations, black, white, whoever, because the argument is wrong. And the argument is really not ours. I mean, it doesn't matter where we came from. It matters that we were enslaved here in America. It matters that we were freed and became freedmen and got, 3 constitutional amendments specifically for us, and then they've been violated ever since. But to frame it that way means success, but that does not benefit all of the agents, the actors in the Truman Show that we're the stars of. And so I don't think until then, when we can, bone up on understanding the disparity studies that are done, the maternal mortality rate, the fact that Health and Human Services came out with all of their accomplishments. They didn't mention mass incarceration, police killings, none of that is discussed. None of that information, these Brookings Institute studies, Dr. Darity's books, all of this, none of this stuff is criminalized or weaponized. to the proper conclusion, which would be reparations by international law. So I think our argument is wrong. I think we've been led astray, and I think it's completely wrong for us to frame it in that way. And you can even read articles about that. But genocide is in whole or in part the destruction of a group or religious or ethnic group. And it does not mean your entire annihilation. It just means to ultimately reduce the number of births, to destabilize your community. We can look at the drug, there's so many examples on a local, federal, whatever level. And it's really not that difficult to prove. But that's where we have to get if we want reparations. But please don't ever think, ever think that this is going to pass through Congress. Please remember we had a Democratic majority. We had 3 houses. Can we please get over that? I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous if you think that some sort of bill like this is going to pass through Congress. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have to utilize the tort system, executive orders, boycotts, whether in the form of removal of our body, which I'm a big fan of, non-payment of taxes, not paying taxes, but putting it into an escrow account, so you don't go to jail. You don't want to spend up your tax money. But things like that. But genocide has a legal consequence. And ironically, Biden passed the Proxmire Act, which made laws against genocide enforceable in the United States. And each charge of genocide carries a $1 million charge. And I dare say that each of us has at least 5 charges of genocide that we could claim. So I think that's where we have to move to. We have to value ourselves in present day. We have to charge genocide. And we have to understand that we are not winning. We're not. I know we're lit as fuck. I know we the best since sliced bread, all that. But when we really look and see that we have organizations like the African Union that basically is employing NARC and COBRA, the Congressional Black Caucus, NAASD, Marcel Dixon, all of these people are actors that are coming under this umbrella slowly but surely, until we realize, there are weapons formed against us that are prospering.
Real quick, real quick. Marcel's not. Real quick. Marcel's not in here to defend himself, so
he's a public figure now.
Yeah, but I know you may know him. I'm saying, but the brother's not.
Stop giving your money to him.
The brother's not in here to defend himself, so let's not put his name up in there. If he was in here to defend himself, that'd be one thing, but he's not up in here to defend himself. So we don't do that in this space right here, but I appreciate you coming up. You made some very interesting points, but yeah, like I just said real quick, he's not up in here. So, I don't bring people's name up in here and talk about them if they're not up in here. So on that note, like I said, you made some very interesting points, and it's going to be interesting to hear what everybody has to say in terms of that. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go to Volvo, and I'm going to go to Mr. Engage. And Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a couple things as far as the topic again. These people they're against the reparations because they're against justice. They're against us getting justice because then they gotta admit who they is. So that's why they against that. Far as I got a question for the room as well. What because I was like I know I talk to y'all a lot, so I just want to know who I'm talking to. I'm not really sure. What do reparations look like to y'all? Do it look like let's say $300,000, $1 million to each person? we all supposed to get cut $1 million check all at once. Like that ain't what it looked like to me. Like as far as when I think of it, you know what I mean? Like what do reparations look like to y'all? You know, on the government level, you know, I feel as though that it should be monthly payments. You know, I feel as though that it should be some type of land given, some type of space. You know what I mean? Given.
I agree with that, Volvo. They're not going to cut. No, the government's not going to cut a lump sum of $1 million or even $350,000 and give it to black people all at one time. I don't see that happening. It would be something that would have to come over a course of time, over a person's lifetime. So I don't see them cutting $1 million check, a $500,000 check, or $250,000 check all at one time. Personally, I don't see that. And you're right. I agree with Len. I said that earlier that I believe part of reparations would not only be cash payments but also land and policy as well too. So the cash first, land second, and policy as well. Just in my personal opinion, I know everybody has a difference of opinions on that, but no, I just don't see them cutting no huge check like that all at one time. So here's a lump sum. Here's $500,000. You guys go ahead and ball out. No, I don't see that. Like you say, you be getting monthly payments, either monthly or quarterly or something like that. But I just don't see it all at one time personally.
Yeah, that's why I asked that. See, you're a reasonable man. That's reasonable. What you saying, brother? That is really reasonable. But there's some people on here that think that I need my $1 million motherfucking check, and motherfuckers giving them mic. Oh damn, I'm sorry, I'm cussing. People giving them mics, letting them get on stage, thanking them for saying that. We appreciate you saying that, sister. All right, brother, he came with passion. I'm like, what this guy talking about? They supposed to give us $1 million a month every month. It's a guy on here that's like that, and they give him mics and they let him talk. Like he's saying that we gonna get $1 million every month for the rest of our life and our children. I'm like, so that's why I asked that question. What do reparations look like to y'all? I'm just curious. I just want to know, who am I talking to?
No problem. Like I say, that's just my personal opinion. I think it would be something like that. The first thing, all people already talk about the U.S. can't afford it and this and that or whatever. So just to go ahead and put that kind of debt all at one time. No, I think you talking about something that reparations would be something that have to be paid at one time. They're not going to go ahead and let's say $14 trillion. They're not going to go ahead and cut a $14 trillion check in 1 year. I mean, just that I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but can I say this? Not in the GDP itself. Look at the GDP. Now you're telling me that they're going to cut a check for $14 trillion, and the GDP itself is what? I can't remember offhand what the GDP is, but
like 3 or something.
Can I recommend the deficit myth? I mean, I thought we knew that federal money was funny money, but I agree with what you said, Newstoter, about the payments. I see it as assessing a 14, 20 trillion. Let's just throw that out there. But then, you assess the total bill, but it is paid out over time, land vouchers. I think it's funny when we talk about getting reparations, and they were asking people in California, what are you going to do with your reparations? And people say, why would start a foundation for underprivileged? I'm like, you do realize that we're talking about everyone getting reparation. Who are these underprivileged people that you're going to be helping? Like that completely.
Wait.
I'm going to go ahead and get to you, Mr. Engage, and she's going to get ready to wrap it up, and then you're next in line. So everybody tonight, don't come off your microphones. I'm going to go ahead and get to you. Go ahead, Yup, and I'm going to go ahead and let you land it. Oh, Volvo, go ahead, because it wasn't even.
I just want to say, I believe that it should be like $1,000 a week. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it should be $10,000 a month.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Mr. Engage. And Mr. Engage, and go ahead. I know you was putting thumbs down, so let me hear what you was putting the thumbs down about.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. And reparations all day, every day. We should have it and should have been had it this second, this hour, this minute. With that being said, I'm going to get to the point. I think my vision of reparations, until we restore properly and we're effective and competitive in America, That is my vision of restoration and reparations for us as Negro people or Black American people. So they're going to have to keep paying us until we're fully restored. Period. You fully broke us, you're going to fully heal us. That's the type of time I'm on. So you can thumbs down all you want, Volvo, because I want the best for our community in the collective, not just immediately $1,000 write-off check that they like they do the LGBTQ plus trans community in California. And yeah, that is a jab, brother. So I'm not really feeling that $1,000 a week crap. That sounds like that Andrew Yang bullshit.
He not black, y'all. That guy's not black. That guy is not black.
I'm a Black American through and through. What you're talking is goofy. With that being said, why most Americans oppose reparations is because they're the bad guys. That's what they do. The thing is, we need to be on our jobs to be the good guys and install justice and make sure we get what's owed on every corner. That every lawsuit needs to be filed. Every case needs to be solved. We need to be very vigilant in the name of justice and making sure we get what's owed. So that's I feel like we've been very lax, and we're depending on institutions like the NAACP, the Urban League, and etc. Instead of us getting up off our own feet and building our own situation and going for the goal. Because we already know that these guys may be against reparations because they already have information out there that support them. So you could just add them as one of the people that are on the list that oppose reparations.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Engaging. Let me go ahead. I see we got who is this up here? New Negro Republic, that's Talent, I believe. We'll get to you in a minute too, Talent. Let me go ahead. I want to get to some of our new speakers up here. I'm going to get to Art, and I'm going to get to you, Talent, and then we're going to go ahead and get to some of the speakers who've already spoke. So go ahead, Art. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hate when black people throw out white talking points. Can we afford it? Yeah, we can. Do a little bit more homework. You'll find out where the money's at. Let's start with BlackRock, who is a beneficiary, who got their seed money from Blackstone, who got their seed money from Lehman Brothers. I don't need to tell you where Lehman Brothers got their money. They just off of $21 trillion, they generate $2 trillion a year, not in money, but assets. That means they can appreciate, okay? And then BlackRock's also going to plug in, and that's with $21 trillion in volume, okay? BlackRock's just set up a deal, you can Google this, with DTCC. Their volume's 2.4 quadrillion annually, okay? So when this 3 to 6%, which is what we do on bonds, right, of that volume is what, 60 to 70 trillion a year? So to have to say they can't afford it, are we joking? And that's beside if you go to the treasury.gov, I posted it in the Jumbotron, they're sitting on a nice quadrillion worth of volume for themselves, not including the DTC, which put us at around 3.5 quadrillion annually. Okay? So anybody that's saying they don't got the money, they need more financial education because they don't know, they apparently ain't watching what's going on. And as far as who's opposing Americans, even the people who are throwing out numbers like 14 fucking trillion, they just spent 16 trillion on racism in the last 20 years. And guess who put that number out? Citibank, who's a beneficiary of slavery. So I would say that number is conservative. And yet it's still 16 trillion. Yet they're trying to throw 14 trillion at us, like we're supposed to jump up for joy. That's 20 years. And I'm going to end with this. That 16 trillion they spent for 20 years, black people could only vote for 60. So that's 48 trillion. Now, what's our debt again? 33 trillion, which means you've been paying for your own racism. Just think about that. Your taxes is going to your own racism. And they're laughing at you. I'll end with that.
Okay. Who said that they didn't, who in here said that Art, they didn't have the money to go ahead and pay for reparations?
When I came up here, hold on. When I came up here, somebody was saying some number less than 5 million a head. Let me tell you what 5 million a head is, okay? That's if I gave your ancestors $2 a day. No harm, just the labor. $2 a day. In contrast, your white counterparts got paid $10 a day. So the minimum just for the labor should be $25 million. So like I said, $5 million is almost a laugh in the bucket. The problem becomes what you accept. They see what you accept.
So real quick, Art, real quick. Let me ask you. So, what's the amount of money owed to each Black American descendant of chattel slavery in this country, in your opinion?
In my opinion, no less than $5 million each, and that's an insult to your ancestors because that's just giving them $2 a day for labor and no harm. That assumes there's no harm. We're just paying back for the labor. So I'll let you pick the number.
How did you come to that? How do you?
Because okay, it's very easy. You go look up the wages that people were getting paid. I told you they were getting paid $2 a day. This is all public information, right? Right, and so you can scale it from there. And what that is in
what year was $2 a day? What year?
Hold on.
Hold on, Volvo. Wait. Hold on. Let him finish.
Bro, I already calculated the inflation because the inflation, if we take that $5 million and knock it all the way back to the 1776, that's $140,000. Okay, so I already know the math on it, bro. So like I said, the minimum that we're talking is $5 million, and that's assuming that your ancestors get 1/5 of what their white counterparts get, and that doesn't account for any harm. And that's just that's $5 million.
And genocide is 1 million per charge in each of us. My number is exactly 5 million minimum, 4 or 5 million. Each of us can claim at least 4 instances of genocide.
And just heads up, Professor Black Truth quoted it was from between $21 trillion to $100 trillion when it comes to reparations. 21 trillion was considered the basement floor. So keep that in mind. So maybe this brother Art has a point here.
So to answer your question, Newstoter, for me, if I had things, I wouldn't do a dime under 200 trillion, and even that's an insult.
All right, appreciate it, Art. Let me go ahead and move it around. Let me get to talent. Talent, I see you up here. What's going on tonight?
Peace and love to the space. Shout out to everyone here. On Tuesday, the Washington Post dropped an article based on a couple of reports that came out of the CDC and some other studies, and it basically talks about the Black community enduring an excess wave of deaths within the last 2 decades. And I want to give you guys what it says. The Black American community has experienced an excess of 1.6 million deaths compared to their white population over the last two decades. And then it goes on to say, one study, researchers conclude that the health outcomes translate into 80 million years of potential life loss. And they said the second report determined that the failing to achieve the health equity of allowing Black people to die prematurely in 2018 cost $238 billion. And the roots that it said is access to quality schools, job, a decent living wage, housing and safe environments, health insurance, medical care, and basically aspects of the people activity areas. So when we speak about reparations, to kind of throw a tennis ball to Dawn, we're not just talking about slavery. We're talking about the conditions that we currently exist under, where even over the last 2 decades, we have lost 80 million years. So that's the 8 years of Obama, that's whatever the little 4 years of Bush, then that's the 4 years of Trump, and that's where we are right now. And the funny part is they said in the study, when you read the full report, the area where the gap decreased was directly during the COVID-19 epidemic, because it was specifically saying that we, based on upward mobility, the higher achievers, the ones who go out there and have to work within the white institution, are dying younger because we're basing our success institutions of the oppressor. You know, because we are building ourselves up in white American society, specifically speaking towards black men, are dying in our 40s, in our 50s, in our 60s. And what they did was they began to remove or move the goalposts or the achievement area of getting your pension to 67, because the studies have proved that black men who are doing upward mobility, working 20 years on a job, 30 years, are dying at ages 61. So they're not even cashing out on their pensions. We talking about literally right now, your father, not your grandfather, great grandfather, no, your daddy, your mama, 20 years in somewhere and they died at 58, died at 61, because you got to make it to 67 now in order to access that pension. So I look at it and I think the conversation that we are having in the thought tennis ball back at dawn into the room is when we speak about reparations, especially weaponizing, we are talking about a continued harm based on the federal neglect and the lack of resources that have been given to our people. We're talking about what happened with these civil rights acts and these bills of affirmative action in the 1960s, and why the hell we don't own shit right now. Like, why are our communities still lacking institutional power, and we marched and did all of that shit, and it was not to get access to white society to sit next to them. It was to make sure that we had a fair share of the economic pie. So if these studies coming out of the CDC on Tuesday saying that over the last 2 decades, we are still losing life 80 million years, 1.6 million in comparison to white people just in 20 years. And that's not including mass incarceration. That's not including the violence that we experience. It's not including maternal health. That's not including a bunch of other areas that we can start tackling on. So reparations is literally because of what we are facing currently. Because even those of us who are bootstrapping ourselves towards success, still operating in a dominant white society, is leading to more trauma. There are new studies coming out saying that we are now victims of racism. And because we're victims of racism, our stressors are higher. It's leading to us deteriorating from the interior. It's leading to mental health and disparities based on the fact that we the ones who decided to get up. And I'm going to land here. The craziest part about these studies that I've read recently that came out on Tuesday is it says during the COVID pandemic is when the gap decreased. And that was because we were staying our asses at home, away from them systems, because we had a work at home relationship, and we didn't have to go to work every day to be around these people with the complicit racism or hitting us with the passive aggressive anti-black Negro bias. We literally were able to stay around our families and work at home. So what we dealing with is not based on slavery. It's based on what has not been fixed since slavery, and including slavery, which is what we consider ethnocide, genocide, and I do stand with Dawn as it pertains to that's what we charge. 1951, there was a Heckler report that came out in 1985. There's the Philadelphia Negro that the boys put out in 1899, and our conditions have not changed. The individual success stories and the people who are making it in a dominant white society are still dying. So all that money and they still dying doesn't mean anything. So we got to look at this from, we might need to be a separate but equal type of conversation. We might need to really start removing from these systems, because we're not living, we're dying. And I mean,
all right, thank you.
Go
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Hey, original, I sent you down for a second just to make room for somebody coming up here. Love, I am. Are you going to speak? Because we dropped the speaker down. So if you're going to speak, go ahead and raise your hand. So if you're not going to speak, then anybody that's not going to speak right now that's coming up, then just go ahead and stay in the listener section, and we'll bring you up here in a second. But Love, I am. Are you going to speak, sister? Love, I am. Can you hear me? Hey, Love, I am. Are you there? I'm not sure Love I Am is there. So Love I Am, are you there?
Yes, I am. Did
Okay.
you call me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see because we dropped the speaker down to bring you up. Are you coming up to speak or are you just
Yes, I would like to speak.
okay. Give me 1 second and we'll get to you. Let me go ahead and get to no taxation and Miss T. I'm gonna go ahead and get to you guys and then I'll get to you, Love I Am. No taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
It's a few things. I'm gonna start with the easiest one for me first. Bobo posed the question, "What does reparations look like to you?" For me, Bobo and the rest of the room, it looks like justice. That's what it looks like. And
Hey, no tax. Can you speak up a little bit louder if possible, sister?
Bobo asked the question and posed it to the room. What does reparations look like to you? And for me, it looks like justice, um, and all that entails. So that's that part. Um, then I wanted to say to Art that was extremely informative, and to Talent, if you could send me that, I would surely appreciate it. That piece of information, that piece of information that you had, please send me that. I need to send it to somebody. And then I want to go back to Black's question. Black said something that has actually been a conversation amongst the people uh, that frequent Capitol Hill, that are reparationists. Uh, the question that he posed is, and he put a little something in it because he threw white folks in there, but he posed the question like, if we had to cut a deal, and this is a synopsis of what he said, and I'm using my own words. If we had to cut a deal, uh, would you cut it with the Pan Africans or would you cut it with the white folks? Well, for me, Black, you know it ain't gonna be the white folks. Now, I'm going back years on this conversation, Black. We talked about 7 years ago, because that synopsis, that scenario that you set up, that has been a topic of conversation amongst several people. In fact, so much so that some people that were lifetime friends fell out about it. Not me, because I have my own views. But what happens if we do have to cut a deal with the Pan Africans? Now, here's what somebody said to me last year when I started getting the permit. I tell y'all this story all the time. So he got sent to DC. And
Okay, I can hear you a lot better now.
Oh, okay. He got sent to DC. He was going to DC, and I told him, I said, look, DC is a dream selling place. Don't buy no dreams. If you've never been to DC, never lived in DC, anywhere in the area of DC, I'm telling everybody, don't go to DC and buy a dream. It's the place where dream sellers go. And so that's what I told him. And he went right up in there and bought a dream. And now he's sitting on the board of NAARC. And that is also a conversation that I had with him. I had to have that conversation with him because I had to know where he was coming from. And he said he believes that Black Americans should get the lion's share of the money, but he believes that Pan-Africans or the African people that are in here, not Pan-Africans, but the actual Africans that are in here should get something. This is a person who is in the halls of Congress. He is in touch with Merrick Garland's office. He can go anywhere he wants on Capitol Hill, and he goes there, I believe, once a week. And he's creating a lot of conversation around it. And so I'm under the guise that we don't know what folks are saying behind closed doors. We just don't know because we're not there. And so we have to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And this brings me to what Yup was saying. She said, don't pay attention to what Cori Bush put on that piece of paper. You can wipe your ass with it. She didn't say it like that. I'm sorry, Newstoter. I promise you I was going to cuss. I did real good for a minute there. But in essence, that's what it is. Whether it goes somewhere and whether it doesn't go anywhere, what we have to do, what the groundswell Black roots have to do, is pay attention to any time somebody that sits in a seat of power puts anything on paper, whether it goes somewhere or whether it doesn't go anywhere. We have to respond because they're talking about us. And we have to let them know we see you. We see you. We're watching you. That's why you answer back. For those reasons. Not because you think it's going to go somewhere. You answer back to say, look, I see what you're doing and I know what you're doing. In the meantime, they pose for the picture and lo and behold, who was standing up there but Mark Thompson. Mark Thompson, who is the henchman for National Action Network. Been a henchman for him. He goes up in Bernie Sanders' office all the time and is well received. Now, why is that important? Because Bernie Sanders been on that hill since forever. What, 20 years now? Pay attention to who these people are, where they go, and who they talk to. Bernie Sanders, every time he gets quiet like he is now, that means he's doing work. If you hear from him, he ain't doing nothing. Trust me when I tell you. And I'm going to tell you this. Everybody can't go in his office. He has a nice staff. Wonderful staff. But he's a nasty man. He's not a nice man. Okay? And so, but Mark Thompson is well received in that office. Very well received. I bumped into him up in there. Okay? And he's standing in there with Corey, in the picture with Corey Bush and Barbara Lee and the rest of them. And y'all got to pay attention to who these people are, where they go, and what they do, and what they say every single day. Because they'll slip you. That's their job, is to slip you. It's in the halls of Congress. Senate, they don't have that problem. Why? Because they don't give a damn whether you know or not. In fact, they want you to know. They don't care. Because they feel like they ain't got nothing on the line. That's job for life, like I said yesterday. Congress, they gotta hide it. Because then they have to go out and campaign. They only work about, they don't even work half a year. And so pay attention. Yes, we need to respond to whatever Cori Bush said. And by the way, didn't she run on that homeless platform and was sitting out there, laying out there on the steps of, I don't know where she was, on Congress congressional steps or something. She done spent the night out in the cold by herself. Y'all remember that, Cori Bush? Y'all remember that? And we got more homeless people today than we did when she slept out there. They said 50% of Black Americans are homeless, and we're only 13% of the population. Y'all don't see the game? She should have stuck to homelessness. Every time you say something to Cori Bush, you should be saying to her, at Cori Bush, what happened to your homeless stance? What the homeless people gonna do? She's supposed to be fighting for them. What happened to it? I said I wasn't gonna get upset today because I knew I showed out yesterday, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Keep showing out, sister. Keep showing out.
All right. Thank you, No Taxation. Let me go ahead and get the Miss T, and then Love I Am. I'm gonna go ahead and get to you next. Go ahead, Miss T.
Hey, thank you, Newstoter, for allowing me to speak again. Dawn, is she still in the space? But thank you for coming in the space and saying what you said. I wish she was here last night because people are under the assumption that nobody's doing the work. Dawn's doing the work. Art's doing the work. Freedman Party. He's actually developed an app where you put in your age and it tells you how much your first check will be and then how much your checks will be thereafter for 75 years. So if you're 69 years old, you would receive, let's say we're supposed to receive $7 million. You'll receive your portion up to age 69, and then the remaining portions until you age out at 75. Anyone 75 and older would get their entire reparations. He's already done the work on the app. And he's figured that we should get anywhere from 7 million each to 16 million each. And Art is correct. America has the money. That shouldn't be our worry. What we need to be, who are we going to get our bill to get it before that president so that he can sign it? Because he's already said, tell me who to pay and how much. We don't have anybody representing us in the high seats. And maybe no taxation, you can help us to find who it is that we can get it to, because the work has been done. In the city, on Discord, April Showers and her team, they're killing it over there. And they are speaking to what Don was talking about on the genocide tip. We're more apt to be more successful on that as opposed to slavery. We can still work on slavery. They're still working on slavery. But slavery was legal in America at the time. We need to focus on our injustices that have been done against us, that have been done illegally to us, and get the money where we can. And Talent, I is he still here? Talent, brother, I just love you. Every time I'm in a space with you, I just know I'm gonna come out of this space smarter than I was when I went in. Thank you for always enlightening us and bringing it like it has to be told. I love you, brother. And if you could send me that information as well, I would appreciate it. But y'all, this is the kind of people that you need to follow, that you need to be around, because they're going to shoot it at you from the hip. Dawn's been doing this thing, and Miss April Showers, April's been in this thing for 10 years. Dawn, you just said you've been doing it for 4 years. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They don't bump their head. They don't fail. They don't pick themselves back up and start it back over. So when people come into your space and they're uninformed, like Miss Dana last night, she's uninformed, and I sent her some stuff. Don't think I'm talking about her behind her back, but I sent her some stuff and some groups and some people that she needs to follow if she really wants to know about the work that's being done in the reparations arena. And if anybody in here wants to know, you need to be following the Capital Accountability Project, Miss Dawn, Art, Freedman Party, April Showers. These are people who are doing the work.
Negro Republic.
Oh, I didn't say talent. But yeah, we have people, y'all, and these are the people we need to be around to stay encouraged and know that America has the money. Look at all the money they came up with during COVID. And they still got COVID money left over that NGOs are still trying to figure out how can we spend this money before the government take it back. So don't let how they're going to get the money be the issue. Our issue is, who do we need to get out of them damn seats up in Congress, and who in Congress has the balls to take our bill before the president? And with that, I land my plane.
All right. Let me give a shout out. We've got 3 subscribers that subscribe to the YouTube channel tonight, guys. So thank you. Hey, for all of the speakers up here, we have more than enough stuff in the Jumbotron. We don't need to post any more stuff in the Jumbotron, guys. So we got more than enough content up here. But thank you to everybody who went ahead and subscribed to the YouTube channel. I definitely appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Love I Am. Love I Am. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, so I wanted to agree with Dawn on the genocide. What Talon just read off to you all, those studies, those actually would meet component C for the genocide, which is to deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and also causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. So what he just described met those criteria. And I think that that would be an excellent basis for the claim, which I've thought that prior to coming into Twitter Spaces. And I think that when you look into genocide, once a genocide is identified by those components, the next step would be transitional justice. Transitional justice is inclusive of redress and repair. But what can happen now is that all individuals who position themselves as an impediment on our transitional justice can be called out on that basis. So when you're describing that individual who is, the guy from Bernie Sanders' office, no taxation without representations, that individual would be impeding on our transitional justice. Narcan and Cobra would be impeding on our transitional justice. All of these people who have aligned themselves against us, like immigrant populations who are being vocal about being aware of what we're experiencing, they would be impeding on our transitional justice. They would also classify as bystanders within our genocide. So I think that we have a very, very valid claim. I don't think that we would ever have to entertain the notion of African people being included in our claim. To be honest, I think that there could be a sound argument made that they were directly responsible for our dispossession and the facilitation of the transatlantic slave trade. And those groups can be identified because they did put in a reparation claim in 1999 where they identified themselves in order to substantiate that claim. So all of these groups can be identified. There's a lot of literature written on the specific tribes, and some of those tribes are still very wealthy families and bloodlines on the African continent today. So it wouldn't be hard to identify those individuals. I would rather make them responsible before I would share anything that my ancestors were, that we inherited from what my ancestor experienced. So I don't think that that would ever happen. And again, if someone tried to make that happen, they would be impeding on our transitional justice and they would have to take a seat. That's how I feel about it. I think we're out of the paradigm where this person is so-and-so. Like this person is nobody. They can be held accountable too. That's how I view it. And maybe that's a little obtuse, but I would rather go with that than the fear of thinking that this person is so important that nothing can be done about them and how they conduct themselves.
That was perfect. That was beautiful.
All right. Oh, shoot. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Love, I am. Let me go ahead. So we got a new speaker up here, and I know I'm going to mispronounce your name. How do you say that? Is it Villaroot?
Valorit.
Valorit. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Valorit. Okay, how you doing?
That's okay. This is Brooke.
Oh, hey, why you just say it's Brooke? Like, oh Lord, what's up, Brooke? I know you were just on YouTube. You just on YouTube. You and Merle was going in and over there. I see like reading the comments. I'm like, oh Lord, but oh Lord.
You know, allies are always interesting. It's interesting when people say that they are an ally, but yet, constantly interject, topics that we're not talking about. I think maybe she came in a little late. Perhaps she's a little bit new to Newstoter Spaces. That, just like somebody said in the beginning, we talk about Black American issues. We're talking about Black American people. And so she's talking about slavery in Canada, yesterday she was talking about Haiti getting money from
the U.S., but now today she says that Haiti is waiting for the French to pay them.
Well, yeah, Haiti's owed reparations by the French, so that's correct in that aspect. But like you saying, we're talking tonight about what Americans are, Black Americans are owed in terms of reparations. But she's correct. We don't have an issue with the diaspora getting their reparations. I say that all the time, but our main focus right now is here for the descendants of chattel slavery, so we have to focus on that. But we'll stand in solidarity with those in the diaspora that'll stand in solidarity with us in our reparation claim as well. But I saw y'all going back and forth like, oh boy.
I just stopped. Bless her heart. I know she means well, and I know she's trying to be a part of the conversation. And I thank her for being an ally instead of an enemy.
True.
So I came up because I did want to touch on. There's so many great things, and I want to back up what Dawn and some other people said. But please forgive me for not remembering who said what. But genocide, most indefinitely. There are some things I want to say to the group, to the family, but because it's a recorded space and it's on YouTube and everything, I will say that I had an opportunity to get in front of the city of Killeen in Texas. They are near Fort Hood, so if you've ever heard of Fort Hood in Texas, the county, Bell County, where Fort Hood is they basically took a lot of the agricultural farmland that was owned by Black American slaves in order to build out Fort Hood. And then ironically, right at 2020, as George Floyd, of course, happened, then they decided to change the name of Fort Hood to get away from the Confederate. So LULAC got involved, and they changed the name to some Cabanoso, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's some random Latino who did something that we don't really know the full story to. Anywho, the point is, I bring all this up to say that I was able to get to present the city of Killeen with a reparations task force proposal, a proposal to create basically an AB 3121, but for Texas. And it got pushed around, it got moved around, so a lot of people read it. Ultimately, they said no, but that's okay. Like Inception, you have to plant the seed of the idea and put it out there. So to add on to that, the reason I was out there was to build a grocery store. So there are people, we have some farmers who are retail ready. We have access to capital, and we are in the position to fight the food deserts, the 6,500 food deserts that are around the United States. And with every time we are able to put either a store or a farmer's market, some fresh fruits from our wonderful, beautiful black farmers, we're able to put a little bit of security around there. And so I just encourage everybody to not lose hope, to know that there are people. I know people have said it before, that there are people out there, but food, our own neighborhoods, our own food supply chain, these are some of the basic foundations. I know some people are doing sustainable housing. So we are working on building up our own cities and things of that nature that we can have to call our own and to block out everybody else. Because God, I almost did it. Because we deserve our own neighborhoods. We deserve our own school districts. And we deserve to live peacefully, unbothered by anybody else. Just like everybody else who gets to come to this country and they get the choice to live around people who are their same ethnicity or same look or speak the same language or blase, blase, blase. We are finally going to have ours, and nobody's going to ever take it from us ever again. And I land my plane. Thank you.
Brooke, we need to go ahead and get you that regular profile back because that name is, what is that, a French name or something?
It's a company name. It's Velour and then it. So our tagline is "Don't just import it, velour it."
Oh, okay. Kind of catchy. I forgot. I remember a while ago that you did change your profile or whatever, and you came in here. It's been a while since you actually spoke in the space, so I forgot all about that. But I'm glad that you stopped by and came to speak in the space tonight. So shout out to you, Miss Brooke. Let me go ahead and so we got Smooth up here. Smooth, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, what's happening, bro? You all right?
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing?
Chilling, man. We're watching this game, but I'm gonna speak on the title. You know why?
Wait. Real quick, who winning? It's the Lakers playing tonight, right?
Yeah, dog. Lakers just lost the lead. We down by I think 3 points.
Okay, don't tell me no more. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm gonna speak on the title. Why most Americans oppose reparations. And well, I don't look at white people like they Americans. I could call them motherfuckers pilgrims or something like that. But as far as black people, you know, I done heard some of the stupidest shit ever. Like, oh, what's gonna break the economy and all this dumb shit where they steady giving money to everybody else except us. And I look at that. I think some people scared. I think some people are scared to really get the money. You know, they're scared of what white people gonna think or what white people gonna do. Then you got some people that's dusty, don't want to give up the weed, don't want to put the drink down, you know, don't want the responsibilities of doing stuff to support. They want to stay on Section 8, sit down and doing all the goofy shit. So, yeah, I think most people are, well, I ain't gonna say most, a lot of people scared. The people that hate on reparations are scared. Why you can't use the money? Why you don't want us to get the money? And this is the funny thing about it. They sit here and they go against reparations, but let that bill be passed, you're going to see those same motherfuckers in line trying to get reparations. You know, so yeah, I think it's a lot of scams, a lot of people scared, and a lot of people just, man, you know, because if you check the history, every time we thrive, we get money and we get stuff popping. They try to bomb us, attack us, destroy our banks, and all kind of stuff. But like I say, if you believe in God, you know what I mean? You don't got to be scared, but if you're scared, you don't believe in God. So I'm not going to respect that. You know? Because as a man, you got to stand for something. You got to have something you would die for. I die for my family. And the thing is, we got to make the opportunities better for our kids. So we got to put it all on the line now. That's how I look at it. That's it.
All right, appreciate that, Smooth. Hopefully the Lakers can pull it out. I caught the tail end of that game a couple nights ago after I left the space, and Lakers was getting mollywopped. The next thing I know, I turned back, and damn, they was back about to take the damn game, and had LeBron hit the 3-pointer, who knows what would have happened. But hopefully the Lakers will come back. I'm hoping. Lifelong Laker fan. Hey, even though I'm in Florida, y'all. Magic Man, Showtime, Kareem, James Worthy, Showtime Lakers. Yeah, I know people like, God damn, that's a long time ago. Yeah, kind of is. Mr. Engaging. Oh, Mr. Engaging disconnected, so we got to come back to Mr. Engaging. Let me go ahead. I guess Mr. Engaging will be coming back up here. Let me go ahead and get to no taxation, and I'll get to you talent again as well too, guys. For those that want to donate tonight on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned news curation media platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter. For anybody that wants to donate $1 to tonight's program, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. I would say up in the Jumbotron, the PayPal and Venmo is up in there, but it's a whole bunch of stuff up in there. And I know a lot of people like, damn, I don't feel like digging for that. So, dollar sign news, Toter, dollar sign news, Toter. Let me go ahead and get to no taxation, and then we'll get to you, Mr. Engaging. If you want to come back up here, go ahead and come back up here. I see you coming up here. So let me go ahead and get to you real quick. Let me bring you back up here and let you go ahead because I know it's been a minute since you had something to say. So let me go ahead and Mr. Engaging, you there?
Yeah, family, what's up, man?
What's up?
Yeah, I definitely want to comment, like close out for the night for myself. I do like the lady, Love I Am, where you talked about genocide and also transgressional justice. I do have something similar in my civic model that does we call it historical crimes or ancestral crimes and stuff of that nature. In my organization civically. So there are ways that other groups are addressing that. One of the other things I want to respond to Bobo, not in a negative or hostile way, but towards the comment where he said that what are you going to do if you can go this way with reparation towards letting the Africans or white people? Then I'm going to put in a legal claim against that nonsense because I'm going to feel that that's not true, pure reparations. That's just my stance, as well as some other people that might feel the same and have the same sentiment. So that's how I would address it. And yeah, I'll follow a claim and represent myself and argue it down, one way or another, by crook or by hook. I wouldn't promote that, me personally. So that would be one of my things. And I'm currently involved in a lawsuit against Lions Club International for them racially discriminating against a Black Lions Club that I did charter. So I do punish the people who have wronged our community. And I go after their bootlicking accomplices as well. That's what we do need to make a habit of doing here, fam.
All right. Appreciate that, Mr. Engaging. Let me give a shout out to Blood Pack. That is Brooke. Shout out to Brooke and shout out to From the Soul for your contributions on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get it to let me go ahead and get to you, Talent, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let No Taxation go ahead, and then we'll close it out for the night, guys. We've been going right at 3 hours. We'll be hitting the 3 hour mark, so I feel we had another good space. So, Talent, go ahead and unmute your mic. Professor DJ, y'all hold it down for me for 1 second.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't answer the question when I came up, so I'm gonna answer the question by giving y'all some information really quickly. Only about a minute, and it's just from the National Library of Medicine, and this is 2002, and it says, "Is extreme racism a mental illness?" And it says, "The American Psychiatric Association has never officially recognized extreme racism as opposed to ordinary prejudice as a mental health problem, although the issue was raised more than 30 years ago by 10 Black psychiatrists, including Alvin Prasant, after the racist killings during the Civil Rights era. A group of Black psychiatrists sought to have extreme bigotry classified as a mental disorder. The association, which is the APA, American Psychiatric Association, rejected the recommendations, arguing that because so many Americans are racist, even extreme racism in this country is normative behavior. It is a cultural problem rather than an indication of psychopathology. I say that to say the reason why people oppose reparations is because they're racist. And they're so racist that it's considered normative behavior. There was a study done in the 1950s that did authoritarianism, bigotry, and racism of white people in the North and white people in the South. And it concluded that they both experience it and exhibit it the same. So there is no difference, hence why it is not a mental health disorder. We understand it to be because these people are crazy just because of all the heinous acts that they have went out to target and to go against us. So the reason why reparations is opposed by that sector of people, one, is because they're racist. Two, even poor white people were trying to kill and tell Negroes get out their neighborhoods when we was trying to set up our own communities. And three, because we are the economic baseline of this country. You know, they keep us economically disenfranchised. They can just kind of pluck our celebrities, pluck our bodies, and put them in positions to make their problems go away because we are only in positions to keep them at the power structure. So at some point we have to address that these individuals' normative default, their default position based on the studies is anti-Negro, anti-Black, and against us. So that makes them unqualified to actually be our teachers. That makes them unqualified for them to be our supervisors. That literally makes them unqualified to police our communities because the energy and the behaviors that they exhibit is normative behavior, even though it's racist. So they oppose it because of that. And anyone else is because they want to identify and align with the proximity to the white power dynamic. And they don't know that us having reparations isn't because we're going to spend a bunch of money on clothes and Gucci. Like, if it's 50 million of us, if 25 million just wasted their money, the other 25 million would still save the country and make it completely different based on what we were able to do coming up the plantations. That energy, that spirit, that hustle, that ability, those minds are still within us. They just have continued to disenfranchise us from having access to be able to do that. So,
All right. Thank you, Talent. Let me give a shout out to Mr. Engaging for his donation tonight. We're going to go ahead and no taxation. We're going to go ahead and let her wrap it up for the night. No taxation. You got to go ahead and unmute your mic.
Y'all are just brilliant. You really are. And I don't think you all are told that enough. I know I tell you every time I come into the spaces, but you all don't understand the brilliance of who you are. Minister Farrakhan saw it, and he said, "This is the most informed and talented generation of Black folks we've ever had on this in this country and on this earth. That's y'all." And so I want to give everybody in this room their flowers that spoke because it was very important information. You teach me, that's why I come. I don't come to teach, I come to learn. I want to say about something I didn't touch on, but I want to touch on it. When you're talking about the Geneva Convention, and we brought that up before we started the conversation of genocide came up. It was actually in the beginning of the spaces, probably in the first half hour. And so if you weren't here, you missed it. I have been talking about we charge genocide for years, and nobody paid attention to me. But I think they'll pay attention to you all. And I think that's a very, very, very important topic, and a road somebody needs to journey on, more than one somebody. And if you can get any kind of pieces of paper off of that, please do so. Because the last time somebody went to the Geneva Convention, to Geneva, Switzerland, and said we charge genocide, it was Ashley Brown from Ferguson. See, that's the last time anything ever happened in Geneva, Switzerland for us. That was the last time our voice was ever heard. And you see what happened. Nothing. And nothing beats a failure but a try. So, Dawn, I hate to call your name out like that, but anyway, and Love, I am 91, Talent, listen, y'all need to journey on that road, because I'm gonna tell you something. That could put a nail in all the coffins. Believe it. See, the reason it looks like this, it's always been bad for us in this country, but this is the worst it's ever been. And my 90-year-old mother says that. My 90-year-old mother says she's never seen it so bad in her lifetime. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the Obama administration made it okay, made it perfectly normal for every administration coming behind him to not do anything for Black people. So much so that Marjorie Taylor Greene, it was out there on the Hill today saying that white supremacy, calling somebody as a white supremacist is just like saying somebody and calling somebody the N-word. But the N-word led to our death. I don't see white supremacists dying because we called you a white supremacist. And we have to call it out every single step. And yes, we do charge genocide. And we should have charged it a long time ago. even before Ferguson. And y'all know, I told y'all yesterday I quit, and I am halfway quit. I ain't gonna lie, and because I had visions of Brooke coming to the rally and passing out those forms, those opt-out forms. So everybody who's against it, just sign the form. See, and that's how we need to start treating people. If you're against reparations, Dawn has that form. We need to make sure they sign that form, and you can get out of line and go do what you got to do. And that's for all the Black folks that are against reparations. And I'm sure there are many out there. We just haven't uncovered the depth and the breadth of it. But, and I say this, and I want to give this to Love I Am. The reason I called out Mark Thompson is because he got ran off his serious job, not job, but you know, because you pay Sirius. So it was a job for him, but his work at Sirius and his little radio stuff, during the ADOS, Don will tell you a long time ago, they ran him off his job. I don't believe in stuff like that. And I'm not a Mark Thompson fan. How about that? But I believe in right. And now here, lo and behold, imagine if he was on our side, if we could have been able to convince him and not make an enemy out of National Action Network. Because that's what happened to us. And so anything we do, they're going to be against us, period. Just because Mark Thompson got ran off his job and he's a henchman over there. That's why I mentioned him. And he's standing up there with Cory Bush and the rest of them. That's why I mentioned it, because I need for you all to see the nuances of Black politics. Who's with us, who's against us, and how much power they hold. Because those are keys. And News, the last thing I want to say is, I really I'm going to appeal to you to Sandy Darity and his wife to come on here and talk about the economics of reparations, because we need to hear it from somebody who has studied it over 30 years, from somebody who's sitting at the top of the economic food chain. We need, we don't need to have it's okay for us to have an opinion and debate about the money and blase, but let's get down to brass tacks. This is a man who sits with Federal Reserves. Let's hear what he has to say. And so I'm going to appeal to you to appeal to him, News, to get him on here. And I'm not even going to raise my hand to say nothing. I'm going to sit down in the listening station and listen like the rest of it, like I should have been doing. And I just wish you all well. The fight continues. It goes on. We fight every day. We wake up. You heard what Talon had to say. They're normalizing racism now. Now it's normalized. Okay? And so that means it's okay. That's why that man felt it was okay to choke that homeless man out on the subway. Because he's a racist and it's normalized. That's what racists do. They kill. Now, and I'm going to leave it there.
All righty. Thank you, No Taxation.
He will be happy to come to us to talk economics. He was on Be the Power.
Yeah, I'm
just happy. And he said 6 quadrillion was easily doable. 6 quadrillion.
I will definitely reach out. I can't make any promises, guys, but I'll try to reach out. I can't make him come to the space, but I'll try to reach out and try to contact him and try to get him to come to the space. And we'll see if maybe in a week or two, if we can possibly arrange something with him. So that is definitely the plan. But let me give a shout out to all you guys tonight for coming to the space once again for the part 2. This was a nice finish from yesterday. Yesterday was a great space and the night was a great space as well too. So let me give everybody a shout out, the co-hosts and the speakers, the listeners. Thank you for everybody who did subscribe to the YouTube channel. For those who did donate on Cash App as well too, definitely appreciate that. We're going to be coming back. I'm not sure we're going to do a Friday night space tomorrow, guys. I'm not sure, but if we do, we'll go ahead and we'll tweet it out and let everybody know. If not, we'll be back Monday. I'm going to go ahead and close it out for the night. DJ, Professor, real quick, like a minute apiece. You guys got something you want to add real quick? Y'all there? Okay. Well, they may not be there, but on that note, guys, and I guess we'll go ahead and we'll close the space out for the night. So we'll see you. Everybody have a good night. And once again, thank you for coming and making this a great space tonight. So I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys either tomorrow night or Monday night. So it just depends. So, but on that note, peace and everybody have a good one.
Peace, peace.